I don't feel like sending them. I'm tired. Oh, hey guys, what's up? What's up? What's up? I need to upgrade this camera on my computer. What's up? Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday. I decided to get myself together, take the rollers out of my hair. Ooh, child. I've been so busy. Hey everybody, what's up? It's Marlene. I'm gonna wait for a few of you guys to get in here. Get in here, get in here. I was just on Instagram. What's up, y'all? What's up? What's up? What's up? While we wait for people to come on, what time is it? 5:04. 446 0542. Is that the number? Oh, hey, Shiva. Yes, Marlene's coming back. Shiva, did you get your card? Did you get your card in the mail? Hey, Nadia. I'm on. What's up, ladies? Yeah, you like this? You guys remember this dress from like years ago? Girl, I'm pulling dresses from the vault, trying to see what I fit in. I said, like, I can't close in the back though. A little bit. I have a little bit left to go, but we'll get there. We'll get there. I'm gonna get my body right before August. Oh, hey, Mark. Oh, that's so sweet. You haven't gotten it yet? Oh, you should have gotten it because I posted in the mail. It doesn't take a long to get to the UK. She got a little card from New Orleans. Hey, Bucky, what's up? What's up, ladies? What's up, fellas? What's up, everybody? What's up? Happy Saturday. It's Marlene. Oh, thank you, Mark. I'm here to finesse, okay? I'm here to finesse. I was going to come live. I was going to go live last night, but I had rollers and a bonnet of my head, and the Lord was like, Marlene, you cannot finesse looking that way. Hey, Sparkles, and thank you so much. You're far too kind. Susan saw me on Instagram earlier. You're far too kind. Happy Saturday, people. Happy Saturday. I hope you're well. I hope you're doing good. I have so much to do today, so I probably won't be here. Darrell, what up, Darrell? How you doing? How you doing? What's up? I probably won't be here for too long because I got so much to do. Oh my gosh, I have so much stuff to put on the website. Jesus. But let me come talk to y'all real quick. And guess what? I will be stalking you guys for the next 7 days, okay? Because I just Marlene just came up with this another crazy idea. Sorry, the lighting might not be as good. I'm gonna upgrade this camera, I promise you. I'll update this camera, have it be more clear. There's a Logitech 4K camera that I saw that I want to get, but it's like they don't have it here. It's like an hour away. I'm like, do I really want to drive an hour to go get a camera? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. Oh, thank you, Scorpion. I appreciate you. Oh, Scorpion, you actually might want to come on for this one. Let me give y'all the link so y'all can show up over here. Oh, those Kevin scam scoundrels. So I've finally been free. I've been released from Instagram live prison, so I can now go live on Instagram. Oh gosh, but oh, thank you, 13. I appreciate that. That's so sweet. You see, I guess the Lord was right. He's like, Marlene, you better look right and go finesse these people. I said, okay, I guess. Let me try. Let me put some effort into how I look. Okay, guys. So now that we're here, now that I have your attention, guys, let me be honest. I came to finesse, okay? I sure did come to finesse, okay? Let me put my intentions out there on the table. So you guys, I've been thinking about something, especially last time we were here. When was it? Like 2 days ago we're here? It was like during the daytime. Oh, thank you, Brooke Land blogger. Brooke Land. Okay, whatever your name is. Thank you. And so we were here like 2 days ago. It was during the daytime, and it was like I was here, Patricia was here, Commendable K was here, Commendable K was here. And we had a live, right? We were talking, and we were talking about things like issues that we find like in the Black community, you know, things that we need to work on, things that we need to improve on. We talked about like careers. We talked about going back to school. Should you go back to school? Should you not go back to school? Should you, get a master's and get more money? We spoke on all those things. And like, after we hung up, it really started working. Like, it really started affecting me because that's what I do. Like, I think about problems, I want to solve them, but it really started to affect me. I'm like, we keep talking, we got to do something. Okay. And I'm the same where I'm like, how long are we gonna complain? We have to come together and we have to do something. And there are many things that I've seen on social media that have inspired me. Oh, well, thank you, Kevin. There are many things that I've seen on social media that have really, truly inspired me. I've seen people raise money on social media. I've seen people, buy real estate on social media. I've seen people do many, many things on social media. Okay. And, oh, hey, Diana. Hey, Gloria. So I was thinking, like, what if, and I'm putting an idea out there, but hopefully you will join. If you get the joy. Scorpio, what's that? But I would like for us, I would truly, happy Saturday. I would truly like for us, right? Especially those of us who are really passionate about like Black businesses, because here's the issue. This is because I encountered that issue as well. You have a lot of Black entrepreneurs who are very creative, very smart. They have great ideas. Some of super highly educated also. But the issue comes when it comes to like raising funds and having capital to do the business. Because what you'll realize, which is something I'll also learn when I start out my business, and it's the reality of business. It's not enough to have money just to buy inventory. It's not enough to have money for a photo shoot. It's not enough to have like money to like marketing or any kind of other expense. You need money for your expenses to run a business, but then you also want to have money set aside, like that you call like working capital, right? So you don't, hey Zeffy, so you don't constantly have to go and do sales. Because a lot of times what happens is, like me, when I started the first time, I did a lot of bootstrapping. So bootstrapping is you start with what you got and then you try to make money as you go along. And honestly, I wouldn't recommend that to people, because once you start that way, it's like you never catch up. And that can trigger this whole like cycle of just like you're constantly having to do sales just so you can make enough money. I think what I would recommend, or what I would prefer for anyone who wants to start a business, is that when you do start a business, if you decide to start a business, that you have enough money to cover the cost that you need, like your merchandise, your website, your photo shoot, whatever you decide to do, but that you also have extra money set aside. So that way, as you're building the business, as you're growing the business, you don't constantly need to take money out of the business just so that you can also survive. Does that make sense, you guys? Does that make sense, Scorpio? You hear me? Right? Let me know if it makes sense or if you have any questions, right? So it's really important for anyone that has a business.
I hear you.
Yeah, it's really important for anyone that has a business to, have some kind of working capital. If it's 1,000, if it's 5,000, if it's 10,000, right? So that way you can just let the business grow and you don't have to take money out of it. But if you put all the money just to start the business and you really need the money back, if it doesn't happen fast enough, you're going to do all kinds of sales. And that can really kill the brand, because if you have a business that's like a month old, 6 months old, even 5 years old, right? Look at it as a child. That thing still needs to grow. So the more money you can leave in your business and let it grow, the better it's going to be than constantly having to take money out of it. Because then you can start having cash flow problems. And that's a horrible position to find yourself in. Oh, thank you. Merci, c'est gentil. Right? So you have that. Then you also have people who like, oh, you don't know enough people, and that's another thing you'll learn. If you want to be a business person, entrepreneur, if you want to start your own company, whatever you want to do, even to go to grad school, you're going to need to learn to put yourself out there. Like you have to put yourself out there. You have to know more people. You can't just know your family and like your cousins and like your people you went to high school with, right? Those are not going to be the people who take you to the next level. So you really have to be comfortable putting yourself out there. You have to be comfortable, being in new situations with new people, right? And letting them know who you are, letting them know what you do, what you're interested in doing. And that's how you're going to connect with more like-minded people. As you get older and you become a professional, you truly need to be around like-minded people, right? Because that's another thing, being an adult, you're going to have like different social circles, right? Oh, thank you, Isaac. You're going to have a social, like you have like your family social circle. You have your friends social circle, but then you also need business social circle, right? You need investment social circle. You need banking social circles. And that's what you have to develop as a business person. Like me, I used to just let me just sell my product. But you got to do other things besides just selling. Like a business person, you need to be out there too. You have to know people. People have to know you. People need to know even in your city, like, even if it's like the mayor's office, right? You'd be surprised, but sometimes even the mayor might want to come by and say hi. And that can really help your business to look a certain way. There's so much I have to learn, you guys. So here we are today. So many times, one thing I think is like three things like I think can be hard for a Black-owned business or a Black entrepreneur is like not having the right network or not having enough of a network, not having enough people that you trust and people who actually do trust you, and also like the lack of access to capital, which is a real problem. You know what I mean? It's a real problem. And that's just for me. I honestly do not think that we have enough funds that are catering to investing in Black businesses. I saw like Kyrie Irving, the basketball player, he just raised $25 million to invest in Black businesses. But for me, I'm like, that's not even enough money. Okay. Because if you want to properly launch a business, like properly, one business might need like $500,000 to $1 million, to be quite honest, right? Because if you want to do it right, especially in the social media age, where like you pay for so much promo, yeah, I'm like, that's not enough money. So like, you need to have more people. We need to have more people, more Black people raise money, or we have more Black people put their money together to invest in Black-owned businesses. There's another lady too, Arlon Hamilton. She like raised like $5 million. I mean, it's great, but it's not enough. Who else do I know? There are many people like that, but I'm like, it's not enough. And one thing that I'm really passionate about, because I am Black and I'm a woman, but I'm really passionate about like Black businesses, especially Black businesses that are operated. Oh, thank you, Maria. I'm very passionate about Black businesses that are ran and operated by Black women, because I am one. And I've been through hell, you guys. I've been through hell. And I think like one of the things that you can do with your life, with your testimony, is to make it easier for the next person to not have to go through what you had to go through, because it can really make you depressed. It's a lot. It really is a lot. And in my community, like people who follow me and who engage with me, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on Instagram, I have a lot of my followers who want to start their own businesses. Like Maria, she's in the UK. She does like fruit baskets. And I told her to do some things, and then she just ran for her life. She never came back because she didn't want to do it, right? But like I have a lot of my followers who are entrepreneurs, who have like, they're selling wigs, they're selling hair, they're trying to start skincare, they're trying to do hair care, they're trying to sell cookies. Like I attract people who are trying to build something for themselves, not just work for a person. But it's like people are all on like little islands, and they're not really connecting. And so what I would like for us to do, which we'll talk about, we'll have like another meeting, but it'll be on Zoom, right? What I would like for us to do, if you guys want to join, it's no pressure whatsoever, but I would like for us to come together, and I would like for us to create our own little fund, right? And the purpose of this fund is going to be to invest in Black-owned businesses, but more specifically, businesses of members that are part of the community. Another thing is, I also want us to travel. That's been a big thing for me. Even me, I've never been to China, but I wanted us to travel, because I was like, I would love to take a group, of my followers, my people. I would like for us to go to China. I would like for us to travel. And hey, Rachel, I would like for us to go to different places, especially like Asia, whether it be like China, whether it be Japan, whether it be like South Korea, for us to really see like what's happening on the other side of the world. Because, here we're stuck in the West. And when you live in America and that's all you're like, oh, okay, we're good. But for me, when I sit back and I watch like a lot of stuff on YouTube, I can kind of feel like America is falling behind. I can feel like America is falling behind. Like, there's so much technology. There are so many things that are happening that we don't know, because they don't want us to know, because they don't want China to compete with America, really. So I'm like, but we need to go. You know what I mean? We need to go and open our eyes. Like even the whole thing about like, going like touchless, right? With the credit cards when you check out. China has been touchless for like a long time now. And they actually use like their QC readers. Like they like the little thing you read with the scanner, and that's how they pay. I'm like, they've been touchless for a long time. We just started seeing things go touchless even more due to the Rona. Right. And it just goes to show you like there's a lot of technology that is missing. And one thing I would like for us to do also as a family, you guys, I would like for us to be able to invest in like technology, or even have like our own tech company. Because when you have a tech company, that's really how you can raise billions of dollars. I'm being honest, like pharmaceutical and tech, that's where it is. Right. And when you look at the tech space, a lot of people who come up with new technology, people who are in tech, they're mostly white people. And you know how I feel about that. I don't think we should be intimidated. I think we should compete. But it's like we don't really like, but what do we compete with? Like, what should be the next big idea? We don't know. So sometimes to know things, like you have to travel the world, you have to go to different places and see what they're doing, what's new, what's popping out there, and you can come back and you can have like a different set of mind. So I would like for us, like not this year, but mostly hopefully next year, if we could travel all together as a group, I think that'd be really dope. I would like for us to also have events here in New Orleans, like we could come together, and celebrate our successes as a whole group, but really trying to use social media, like this whole YouTube thing, like for something way more positive, way more meaningful than just like, oh, let's talk about gossip, drama, whatever is happening, or being upset, but definitely using it for something constructive. Does that make sense, you guys? Can you can join. If anybody wants to join the live stream, feel free to join. Because you have people who really want to support Black businesses. You have people who have Black businesses. Like, so how do we bring those two people, like those groups together, so that they're able to actually do something, meaningful? Because I don't want you guys to just sit there and watch me all the time and be like, oh, look what Marlene's doing. I want to also like help you to, realize your dreams, or like, and it's not even just a business. If you're going to school, if you're going to go back to school, if it's buying a house, if it's whatever, but by yourself, it's hard. Like if you're just one person, it's really hard. But if you're part of a bigger group, it becomes a whole lot easier. And for this new group that we're building also, I would love for some of you guys to also like be involved in it. Like, so if you have skills, if you have talents, if you have a certain education that you think can benefit us, I would love for you to be part of it, because it's not like for Marlene, by Marlene. I want it to be for everyone. You want to say something, Scorpion?
No, I just actually think that that's a really good idea.
Oh, I'm so glad. So
I think that a lot of us, we need that, because, in other communities, they have that. They have systems where they get together and they help each other and they travel the world and they see different things. I think a lot of Black people, if they experience that, it also will teach them to understand how to work together and how to build together. Because if we're traveling the world together and we having fun together and then learning and experiencing different things, we get outside of this so-called American mentality that we have, and that helplessness mentality that we have. If we get up and actually get out here and see things and work together, we can actually get somewhere. I think that's a really good idea, because we don't have that. We don't have systems like that for each other. If we could create those systems, it got to start somewhere. So that's a great idea. If we could create those systems for each other, then people can be inspired by this and see that and be like, look what they doing. Let's go do that.
Exactly.
And like you said, teach them how to build a business, and seeing how these people build their businesses. You could take from anyone, anybody that's owning a successful business. You can learn from them. Learn what they did and what not to do, and
that's the most important thing. Like me, if I was to like teach like business seminar, I would teach people what not to do. Because that's truly what people need to learn. Like when you see people like, oh, I made this much money, and so come to my seminar and I'll show you how. You know what I'm saying? It's like they might not be able to replicate that success, right? But the best thing you can ever give someone that's trying to go out there for themselves is what to avoid, because mistakes are very costly. Like you see, even making money is not that hard, really, when you think about it, right? But it's keeping the money. Keeping the money, knowing how to manage the money, knowing how not to get ahead of yourself, right? Knowing how to have a budget. You know what I mean? Like, because like we have, there's Janet also. Janet's part of the community. She's followed me for years, and now she went back to school finally, because she was so afraid. But she went back to school now because she's trying to get her CPA. And I was telling her, because she has an accounting background. And I said to her, I want you to be involved, but now because she has school and other things, so she might not be able to like take a formal role, but I want her in an advisory position, and she'll do like some like free courses, even if it's like once a week or like bi-weekly or once a month. So she can at least teach some of us like the basic concept of accounting, right? That your revenue is not your profit. Like a lot of time when I see, and it grinds my gears, like people show how much they're making on social media. Oh, look how much I got on my Shopify. That's just revenue, you guys. That is just revenue. You can make $1 million in a day if you want to, but what are your costs? Because all that money is not going to your pocket. You know, when you have an online business and you sell, the first person to get paid is PayPal or whoever your credit card processor is. So if it's PayPal, it's Square, it's Stripe, you name it, because they're the one processing the money. So they're the first to get paid. Then the post office, they definitely have to get paid, because if you don't pay the post office, no one is getting their packages. You know what I'm saying? Then it's like, you can't just ship people stuff like this. Like, you have to pack it. You have to wrap it. So you have cost of your supplies, right? Then if you're doing it or people are doing it, then you have labor costs. If you have too many orders too fast, people either have to work overtime or you have to hire more people. You know, but it's like, you can make $1 million a year and you can even spend like maybe $200,000 on shipping. Okay. And you might spend another $50,000 just on packaging alone. That's like your paper, your tape, your bubble wrap, your boxes, your tissue paper, like anything that goes into like you packaging the stuff, right? Then you have your payroll expenses. Then you have your taxes that you got to pay, the state, the government, and the county that you're in. Like, it's a lot of expenses, you know? And one thing I like, and so that's the thing that like really grinds my gears, is like, people don't tell people like,
and quality as well.
Yeah, your revenue
quality.
Your revenue is not your profit. You can make a lot of money, and when you take out all your expenses, you're broke. What happened to the money? You know, and that's another thing that I've learned. Even me, I've made that mistake too, right? When you don't know all of your costs, a lot of people are underselling their products. Like, you're selling for too cheap. And because now you just want to make the money, you're not really thinking about it. But in the long run, you're going to find yourself in a bad situation. Cash flow problems, right? Because many people don't sit and properly think about, how much is this really costing me? You know, that's why I say you cannot buy a t-shirt for $5 and turn around and sell that same t-shirt for $10. You're not going to make it. The whole purpose of what makes a business different than a hobby, right? A business has to enable you to be able to pay you also. Like, it has to enable you to, like, I'm not saying you're gonna have like a luxury vehicle and live in a mansion, but you should at least be able to, you know, be able to feed yourself with your business, right? A hobby is something that you do, and whether you make money or not, you don't really care. It's a hobby, and you don't dedicate that much time to it. If you're going to dedicate all your life, all your day, all your nights to something, you need to be able to at least make like what you need to be, even as a business owner, you should be able to make minimum wage. So when you're selling a product, it's not just to say like, oh, I'm selling the product for $5, so I just made $5. You didn't really make $5 though. You did not, because PayPal got paid. They took the money. You gonna pay the post office. You gotta pay your even to get your. Then it's like the cost of the t-shirt. Then it's like, how did you get the t-shirt? Did you go pick it up or they ship it to you? That also costs you money. Then there's a time you have to spend promoting the company. The time you have to spend reaching out to customers. Like there's a lot, because even your time as a business owner, whether you are a consultant person, whether you are a creative, whether you sell a hardcore product, whatever you do, even your time, you have to put a dollar amount to your time. And that also has to go into the cost of what this final product is costing you. But so many people get consumed. A lot of Black people get consumed by revenue. They get consumed by that big number, and they think they're actually winning. And it's like, you could have all that big number, and you could be in a really bad position. You know, so you constantly have to do sales. You constantly have to release new, it's exhausting. Why? Because you didn't start off by properly knowing your costs and then planning accordingly. You know what I mean? And I'm like, and these are the things I'm like, a lot of people need to teach that to a lot of Black people in business so they can avoid the mistakes. Don't you ever think that, oh, if money comes in, all that money goes into your pocket. No. Maybe it's like a fraction of it that might go into your pocket. And when you have a business, especially when you decide to hire people, and even if you don't hire people, most entrepreneurs, you get paid last. You know, everybody gets paid. You're the last person to get paid. And when you have a staff, when you have a warehouse, when you have like overhead costs, they're going to get paid too. So everybody gets paid before you can even do that. Oh my gosh, like, is there anything left for me? And that's real about being an entrepreneur. Like, that's something that people need to be fully aware of. You don't, an entrepreneur, a business owner, a CEO, unless your business has been around for like years, like 20 years, and you're really well established. But for the building stages of a business, yeah, you might never get paid. Or you might get paid like super last. Or you might even get like, because it might even be payment. You might get like a free like Chick-fil-A once in a while from the business. You know what I'm saying? Because knowing your costs is really, really important. And a lot of people do not spend enough time knowing what their costs are. And that is something that you have to take your time and you have to plan accordingly. Because I see a lot of people, they're too cheap. You know what I mean? Because they want to have all these clientele, but it's like, okay, like even people who make wigs, right? You really got to think about it. If you're making a wig by hand, that's taking you way more time than if you were making a wig with a sewing machine. So if you make a wig with a sewing machine, can you be as cheap as somebody who's making it with if you make it a wig with your hands, can you charge as less as somebody who's making the wig with a sewing machine? So you might have to invest in a sewing machine or learn how to use a sewing machine so that you can make more wigs. So therefore you're more efficient with your time, right? But it's like, if you do things that are handmade, if you do things that you do by hand, you really cannot afford to make a wig for like $50. So I'm gonna make a wig for $70. You're actually gonna make less than minimum wage. You know, and that's the thing. There's a certain breaking point, right? Where it's like, if you're not making the right amount of money, it's actually better for you to work for somebody else. Okay. But then if you can make over a certain amount of money, then it makes more sense for you to work for yourself. Like, you know, it's an opportunity cost there. So you have to know that if I do this business and I charge this much and I make this much money, right? And this is how much I'm left with. Do I make as much as somebody who's making minimum wage, or do I make less than someone who's making minimum wage? And if you find that you're making less than somebody who's making minimum wage, especially for a long period of time, you might just want to go and just work for someone, because obviously it's not working. You know what I'm saying? It's not working. So, and you know, and those are the things. But sometimes if you're by yourself, and that's the thing, we talk about community, because whether you're talking about the Jewish community, you talk about the Arab community, you talk about the Asian community, you talk about the Pakistani community, right? Because they have so many people in their community who are business people, who are entrepreneurs, who have their own stores, their own businesses. They share that wisdom. Like, they share their mistakes. They share their shortcomings, and they share their highs and their lows, their victories and their losses. So the young people in those communities, they get put on game. They get the knowledge at a very, very, very early age. So when they start their own journey as entrepreneurs, they know exactly what to do. Whereas, like, for a lot of us, we're all on our own little island. Like, I'm over here, she's over there, he's over there, right? And like, we never come together because, I don't know if I can trust you. I don't know if I like Black people. It's like, okay, we got to get to a point where it's like, we overcome that, right? We overcome that. And like, we start with what we have, and we start with the people that we can actually trust. And then we see how it goes, right? Because in my head, what I was thinking was, you know, what I was thinking is, okay, like, what if we had a group, right? And then to join, we made it like, okay, everybody's contribution would either be like 30, anywhere from 30 to 100, whatever you can. And then we would do these investment campaigns together. And then when the money comes in, we can split the money, and then we can all learn, okay, what went well, what did not go well. And I think that would also be great, because if you have a business, but that's not where it's supposed to be yet, you can use those experiments to kind of learn and know what to do and what not to do. If you are thinking about doing a business eventually, the community will be great for you, because you'll get to see and you'll get to hear from many other people and see how they're doing, or what they shouldn't have done. It like, maybe I don't want to do that, you know? So it's like, it's a nice way to learn more about business without having to lose too much. Because I wanted to create an amount, set an amount that it wouldn't be too risky. Like, it's okay, if I lose $30, it's not the end of me. You know, but it's enough for you to get in. And I also want it to be for those of you all who want to go back to school, or who are in school currently, right? Because sometimes some people might need like $3,000 just to go back to school. Some people might need $4,000, you know, because a lot of times, like, if you don't pay the people, they block your transcript, so you can't move on, you can't register for classes, right? And then you drop out. Like, why would you drop out? You know, but many times we find ourselves in those situations, right? Because we don't know the right people. But if you're part of a group, let's say you need like 3,000 or 4,000, right? If there's 100 of us, we could all pitch $40 and help you out, and then you tell us how you're going to pay us back. You know what I mean? Or like, let's say we have somebody here if somebody's a YouTuber, and like, I would really love to like upgrade my equipment. But then let's say like for you to upgrade your equipment, it might be $2,500. You might not have that, right? But if there's 100 of us, we could all do $25 and help you out. Just gonna tell us how you're gonna pay us. You see what I'm saying? So like it shows you how like a small amount in one person's hand might not be a lot, but if you put a bunch of people together with a small amount of money, it can turn into something really big. Does that make sense, Scorpion? You guys see my vision here? And if you want to come in, please come in and you can tell me what you think, or if you have any questions, right? But and like doing small things like that and seeing how people do, I think that would be really great. Because one time I saw this, it's the same thing, like, but it was like a Chinese group, but they were in Paris, right? And it's like a lot of people. It's a lot of people. Now they all work hard, but they would contribute like small amounts of money, like monthly or whatever. And this young guy, he was 24 years old, and he wanted to start a restaurant. He wanted to start a restaurant at 24, Paris. And mind you, Paris real estate is super expensive. That's like New York City real estate. And his Chinese community, they gave that 24-year-old boy $100,000, cash money. And he was able to use that money without going to the bank, without interest rate, without people pulling his credit. He was able to use that money, and he started his own restaurant, and he was able to pay for everything. And that's how even many people here, you see like most people have like these nail salons. Because one thing I would also like for us to do, I have all these ideas in my head, but we'll get there. But one thing I would like for our little group to do as a community, I would really like for us to start having our own nail salons. Like these nail parlors make a lot of money.
They really do.
They make a lot of money, you guys. I'm not playing. You know what I'm saying? They make so much money. And when you think about it, like, it's not that expensive to start a nail parlor.
Yeah, it's not.
Like acrylic, like the powder is not that expensive. The tips they put on your thing, you can buy like a whole bag of tips like that for like maybe $5. The machines are not that expensive. Like if you want to do like maybe like nicer furniture, I get it. But I'm like, it is not that expensive. Like have a vision, right? You guys, I'm serious. Because we can come here on social media and do this for years, or we can like actually start being serious and like really have a bigger vision where all of us, like let's say there's like 40 of us right now. What if all 40 of us could actually be millionaires? Like for real. It's not impossible, But I'm like, these nail shops make a lot of money.
It's and crazy that you say that.
People go there every day. Every day. Even from the dirtiest nail shop, right, to the most luxurious nail shop, people make. I'm like, if Vietnamese people keep doing it over and over and over, obviously there's money there. Go ahead, Scorpion.
Oh no, I was just saying, it's crazy that you say that. I actually was when I was in high school, I used to do freelance working and gardening and things like that. And I was putting up this fence for this Mexican family. They paid me a lot of money, but I would have to put this fence up. That's another thing, knowing tools and knowing how to do stuff so you can make money. But I was just putting up this fence, and I was asking them, because a lot of them lived in this duplex. And I'm like, y'all all family or y'all all friends and stuff that stay here? They bought the duplex,
you see,
and they rent it out to people. They all came together. They put their money together. Like it's really that simple. I wish Black people thought like that. Because they literally, all of them literally got together and put their money together, bought the duplex and rented out. And then they ended up just buying more duplexes around the city where I live and renting them out. A lot of Mexicans do that, and they will stay in the same household with each other or the same duplex building and rent out other homes to people. And that was crazy to me. I'm like, why don't we think to do stuff like this?
And that's why I tell people all the time, like I said, people make generational wealth more complicated than it needs to be. You know what I mean? To me, I think people make generational wealth way more complicated than it needs to be. Why do I say that, right? I'm like, every year, people say, like, you'll hear people say, oh, I don't have generational wealth. I don't come from generational wealth, right? But every year we celebrate Thanksgiving, right? Every year you'll have like 30, 40, 50 family members who get together, right? So I'm like, if you have 40 family members who get together, if everybody says, okay, today is the day, we're coming here for Thanksgiving. Yeah, we ate good, but we're tired and we're sick and tired of not having enough money. We're sick and tired of like having to pay for college. Let's create something that the next generation, these little kids running around today, they don't have to go through what we go through, right? If 40 people from the family all gave $100, you guys. That's $4,000. You know, like worst case scenario, take the money, put it in Bitcoins, and don't touch it for the next 10 years. You know, that $4,000 could really grow to be $400,000. You know, like generational wealth can happen whenever you decide to have generational wealth. You know, you don't have to start with $1 million to have generational wealth. But it's first of all, it's the mindset and it's the willingness to like, let's trust each other with what we have. And let's start right there, right then, right? Or like even a family could come together. Okay, like all 40 of us, right? Let's buy a house and let's flip the house. Well, we're going to agree on the house. We're going to put the money to buy the house. And then we're all going to like put money together to like revamp the house, right? And then we sell the house. And whatever profit we make from the house, instead of splitting the money, let's take that money and reinvest that money again and get the second property. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, generational wealth can happen at any time. For as much as America is racist, there are ways to make money in this country though. Right? If people are just willing to do something and especially to trust each other with little, because that's what we were saying the other day about like these football players that they'd rather play, knock their bodies out, abuse their bodies than to level up their mind. Be like, I don't have to be running and get my ass whooped like this. I could just be an owner and have somebody else get their asses whooped, right? But a lot of these celebrities, a lot of these athletes, like I said, they don't want to do it. They deflect. So they'd rather physically work their bodies. And that's the thing. Like that is the thing that I feel like is what drags Black people down compared to white people. Is like Black people like to work hard because they think like working hard is how you make it. It's like, no, you're going to kill yourself. White people work efficiently. That's why they like computers. That's why they love robots. That's why they like automation. Like, why should I kill myself if I can make 20 robots and have them do what I do 20 times? Like, oh, that actually makes sense, right? Like there comes a point where it's like, you can only use your body, but so much. You know, and the more you use your body, like just like anything else, it's wear and tear. This is not sustainable. It really is not sustainable. So like the way you have to think is, how do I multiply myself? You know what I mean? And the best way you can multiply yourself is by looking at every dollar that you make and seeing what is the best way to use every dollar that I make. Because physically by yourself, you can't do it. But I've noticed that a lot of Black people, we like to use brute force. We like to abuse our bodies. We like to wear our bodies out. We like to like work so hard, have multiple jobs. You're going to kill yourself. That's not being efficient. You can work hard and not get ahead. You can work hard and still be behind. You can work hard and still be broke because you're not being efficient. You're not being efficient. And like to me, efficiency is truly when you learn to link up with other people who have more strengths than you, who have more ideas than you, who can make things happen for you. But just by linking up with them, they'll take you along with them and you go up with them. That's the whole point of having network. Because the right network can take you from this tax bracket to this kind of tax bracket, right? The right kind of network can take you from like, oh, this is how I used to see life, and now this is how I see life. And because of that, I'm increasing more because of it. You guys, it's real. It's real. You know, you might be able to like your working years might only be 40 years. And you really have to think about from the age of 25, from 26 to 66, those 40 years of your life, how exactly are you going to maximize those 40 years? Are you going to physically work hard for 40 years? Or are you going to connect with other people during those 40 years so that instead of making one, you can make 2 or like 3 or 4, 5, 6, 25 times what you could have made just by yourself? You know, that's what you want to do. That's what you want to do. It's like you like that's how our mindset, it truly has to be. You know what I'm saying? It's like even the people who created like this whole Bitcoin thing, right? I don't think it was working at first. Nobody believes it, but some people believe in Bitcoin. And today it's taken over. Now, is it easy to make money? I guess, but it's like those who started first on that crazy idea, they've made way more money than anybody else who's going to come behind them now, because now it's going to be all different and the government's going to get involved. So it's not going to be the same. But we have to think about like, okay, how do I connect with more people so that we can build together? Because for me, Marlene, I really think like as a group over here, and I mean that, right? We should all have it in mind that, maybe if we could all have like one nail shop, whatever your city is, wherever you live, what if you could actually own one nail salon, like wherever you live? So like everybody here has one nail salon, because that's usually how like Koreans will do with the beauty supply stores. That's how, if you notice, like most 7-Eleven, most gas stations are ran by Indians or Pakistani. That's usually like their go-to. Here in New Orleans, like you'll see a lot of like Palestinian into like the hair business. They have Boost Mobile. Most of the Boost Mobile Metro PCS belongs to the Palestinian. But what they usually do, the way it usually works, from what I know, is that like they'll all pitch together to help one person have the business, right? Then when you have it's like rent to own. So you pay your community back, and once you're done paying it off, then the business belongs to you, right? Then they go and they help another person, and then you'll pay it back, and then once it's paid back, then you help a third person. So before you know it, everybody gets one. Does that make sense, you guys? If you have any questions, if you want to join the conversation, please join the stream, right? Because this is a really important conversation. Right? But before you know it, everybody has a beauty supply store, or everybody has a 7-Eleven, or everyone has a gas station, or everybody has a restaurant. Like they're like, even like here too, like a lot of the Cajun food here, it's a lot of Vietnamese people who do it. So they'll start for one restaurant, grow that one out, then they'll open another version for the cousin, then they'll grow that one out, then they'll grow this over here. So like you'll have like one restaurant, but it's actually a family, like it's a wider, not like the nuclear family, but it's like the bigger family unit. And so every family unit will get one restaurant, and then your job is to make that one successful. But they'll act like it belongs to the same person. I mean, it's the same family, but it's different people in the family that have the restaurant, right? Because and that's one of the things, like when you come here to New Orleans, for example, like when you go downtown, there are no Black-owned businesses downtown. There are no Black-owned restaurants downtown. There's nothing. It's Europeans, and it's Palestinians, right? Black people are nowhere to be found. And once again, because we don't know how to work together. But yet, when you go downtown, there are so many abandoned buildings. There are abandoned buildings. You have abandoned storefronts, and it's like you see all this stuff right here. If people could just come together and put their money together, they could open a restaurant right here. They could buy the whole building, refurbish it, and then you can lease it, because some of they're really tall, look like these long townhouses, right? But I'm like, sometimes they have 4 floors, they'll have 5 floors. I'm like, this whole thing could be refurbished, and then you can have a different person, a different business on each floor. But everybody gets to have that, amazing real estate. You get to have this amazing address. Oh, so-and-so Canal Street, right? But I'm like, a lot of times, people don't want to come together. And that's also what a lot of churches should be doing, right? Praying, laying hands on people, saying people are going to make wealth. Okay. But yet every Sunday, right, the Black church altogether makes $1 billion every Sunday in America, right? And you don't see the benefit. Where's all this money going? Where's all this money going? Whereas the people, I truly believe too, people in the church, the money that they get from the tithes, the offerings, the this, to this, to that money should be reinvested back in the community to create jobs. I really think even in America, the Black church should be the #1 employer of Black people, because they make so much money. They make so much money and they don't pay taxes. So what exactly are you doing what are you doing with the money? What are you doing with the money? Last time when I was at First Baptist Church at Glen Harton, Pastor John Jenkins, he was boasting because he bought a whole new building. It's like a recreational center. It's like a stadium. It's like a gym, whatever. So he spent $25 million cash, right, on a building. And I was like, what the heck is that, right? For me, Marlene, honestly, if I had been in his position and if I had raised $25 million, I would have built apartment buildings. You know what I mean? I would have built an apartment complex. I would have taken the $25 million. I would have bought some land, and because he's over there Peachy County, Maryland. You know what I'm saying? I would have bought a huge chunk of land. We would have built a bunch of apartments, right? And all my single moms, all my young people coming out of college, or people who are divorced, I don't know, but whoever is going through a harder time that needs housing, I would have used that into affordable housing. Don't check your credit. If you've been coming to church, if you've been in this church your whole life, if you've been in this church since, more than 5 years, and you're there and you serve in the ministry, you're part of the usher, you're part of the choir, if you're a member of the church, right, you will get this apartment even below the market price. I mean, you still have to pay, but it would be something good, right? And then we would actually report to the credit agency so we can help you boost your credit. So I'm like, that way we all win. But when you take $25 million to build a gym, I'm like, if people are not working out, they're not going to work out now because it's a church. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to do it. And then COVID hit. I'm like, you see, so all this like $25 million. Or he could have opened like a community bank, because there's enough people at Glen Hardin, right? And they have enough money that they can have their own credit union. So these people could take their money out of Chase, take their money out of Bank of America, take their money out of Wells Fargo, and then put their money in a community, because there's enough people at First Baptist for them to have their own credit union. Most Black churches have enough people that go there every Sunday, pay their tithes every Sunday, that they can have their own community bank, and then they can set their own rules. How much they want to charge for a car note, for a car loan, how much they want to charge for a mortgage. You could decide that as a church family. And because, I'm not trying to be like mean or disrespectful, right? But the way banking is set up in America, the way the credit is set up in America, not trying to be disrespectful, but it's a very Jewish ran system, right? It's really Jewish. Even this whole thing about your bankruptcy will last for 7 years, or you get a bad mark, it'll stay on your credit for 7 years. That's the Old Testament. That is the Old Testament. Because in the Old Testament, which is also the Torah, so in the Bible, we call the Old Testament, but if you are Jewish or if you're in the synagogue, they call the Torah. Well, in the Old Testament or / the Torah, when that was the law that God had given the people, that if someone owed you a debt, on the 7th year, you had to forgive the debt. That's where that 7-year stuff come from. It's not random. So 7 years, when they tell you that something stays on your credit for 7 years, or if you file for bankruptcy, it's still on your credit for 7 years, right? That number 7 it's a biblical principle. You know what I mean? And so that the way banking is set up, the way the credit stuff is set up, it's very punitive to Black people. Because I'm like, where does it make sense that if people are already having a hard time paying their bills, that you should charge them more interest? You're going to put these people in a deeper hole. If they're already struggling at this interest rate, what makes you think that a higher interest rate is going to be okay? So we live in a country where in the banking system, it is okay to exploit people who are already struggling financially, right? And so the number, so it's like the banking system, which is it's a Jewish ran banking system, right? It is a Jewish defined banking system. The rules are set according to the Torah. That it truly, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but that's really what it is. So it's like, it's not even a system that was meant for people who are not considered to be chosen. Because we know that the Jewish people have this understanding that they're God's chosen people, and everybody else, I don't know, but that's their understanding. So I guess I know I'm chosen, but that is their understanding. So of course, if you're not chosen, it's going to be punitive towards you. You know what I mean? And good luck if you make it to year 7. So it's like, so we as Black people too, you get to a point you can hate, you can cuss people out, you can be mean to people, or you can say to yourself, hey, it's their money. And they have the right to use their spiritual, religious principles to give their money, to loan their money how they see fit. More power to them, right? We also have the power, because nobody is powerless. When you really think about it, nobody is powerless. You might not have the same money as John over there. You might not have the same money as Sarah over there for now. But if you work hard enough, one day you can have more money than both of them combined, plus interest. Right? So it's like and this is where I feel like the Black church should come in. We should also have a system where we help each other based on our own values. You know what I mean? What makes a Black person credible to another Black person? You know what I mean? What makes hey lady, you know what I mean? What makes a Black person credible to another Black person? It's for us as a community, it'll be different for what that community has over there. So we got to do things that also make sense for us based on who we are and how we know each other and how we have built our own community. Otherwise, you'll keep seeing so many people suffering. But I'm like, for me to see that, I'm like, the man really spent $25 million on a building so people could work out. I'm like, there's Planet Fitness for $10. If they don't want to work out at Planet Fitness, they're not coming to the gym to work out, Pastor John. I just don't understand. I'm like, is nobody giving this man advice? You know what I mean? Even with $25 million, he could have built single-family homes. And he could have held on to the mortgage. and he could have sold those houses to members of the church. So instead of them paying, so instead of church members having to pay Chase, JP Morgan, the Bank of America, Wells Fargo, people be stressing you out. Your mortgage is to the church. And whenever you default, if you can't pay for the house anymore, when you default on your mortgage, well, guess what? The house just goes back to the church. You know what I'm saying? But it's like people want to, most of the time in the church house, it's like a business. It's like it's just for the pastor, it's just for the bishop and his family. It's like it's their way to eat money. Does that make sense? Or number two, let's rebuke the devil, let's rebuke the demon. Well, also let's also rebuke poverty. Let's also rebuke poverty. You know what I'm saying? And one way we rebuke poverty is by taking all this money that comes in every Sunday and using it to also put the members of the church in a better financial position. So I was kind of tight about that. I was like, oh, I don't know how I feel about that part, because $25 million to build a gym, that's so silly to me. Like people, I'm like, did you even ask the parishioners what they would want? You know what I mean? No, that's something that he wanted to do. Because these pastors in DC, they like to compete on how big their churches are. It's like people compete about how long their penises are, right? That's what a lot of these black pastors like to do. They like to compete about how many members they have, how big is the church. It's like, but nobody really cares for the church to be big. Like, I'd rather have a small church and all my parishioners are loaded. Like, they have no debt. They have money sitting in the bank. Like, they got assets. Like, I'd rather have that kind of church than to have a big church where everybody comes in crying about money, defeated over money. They don't know how they're going to pay the mortgage. Like, I'm like, let's sell off. Like, honestly, you guys, do we even need to have this big church? We can even have church online as long as everybody's financially stable. You know what I mean? Like, the number one reason why people are in church so much, because they're financially afflicted. They're afflicted. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's true. Like, so many people are financially afflicted. People come to church and scream and cry and beg God for a financial breakthrough. Meanwhile, the pastor got all the money sitting in a bank account. This makes no sense to me. Set the people free. Set the people free. Because the real oppression, especially of this world, what truly makes it hard for people to be sold out to Jesus, right, is financial bondage. You know what I mean? Yeah, he did that. But I'm saying, like, $25 million, Mariah, to get you guys a gym. Did you ever go work out at that gym, though? You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy. You know what I mean? And my thing is, like, and that's the thing. I do like Pastor John, but I honestly felt like that decision was silly as hell. Because I'm like, okay, you're giving out cars to single moms, right? Okay, they would not need you to buy them cars if you had an infrastructure that enabled them to make money. Like, we got to stop doing charity when we can actually put people in positions to be wealthy. Like, I would rather have I'm like, Pastor John, keep your car for single moms. But I would rather have Pastor John, right, have an entire ministry, like a business ministry at Glen Hardin, an entrepreneurship ministry at Glen Hardin, right? Where he's like, okay, it's going to be a 6 months course, or it's going to be a year course. Like, we're going to have our own version of an MBA. But you have to come to these courses. You got to come on Sunday. You got to come on Wednesday for Bible study. But you also have to come to these courses. And you got to serve in one of the ministries. If you do all of that and you pass your classes, we're going to give you like a $30,000 grant or a $50,000 grant so you can go start your own business. You know what I'm saying? Then you don't have to buy people cars, because you bought her a car, but she still needs car insurance. She still needs gas for the car. She still needs to, okay, what about this other bill? Because the bills don't stop. So we gotta put black people in the black church in positions of wealth. And because there's a community in the black church and there's so much money in the black church is responsible for building wealth. Like, the same way I feel like black entertainers, like all black athletes, all black celebrities, all black entertainers, I do believe that they owe their money to the black community. They owe to invest back in the black community, because if you don't do it, who's gonna do it? If you don't turn around and reach out to your own people, you think another community gonna come save us? No, that it's not their job. And we can't be mad at them, because everyone needs to be responsible for their community. Right? But I also blame the black church, because $1 billion every Sunday, where is that money going? And all we see is luxury. Like, even Pastor John has a plane. You know that? He has a private plane. He has a private airplane. So, like, I don't need your car. If he can afford a private jet, He can afford to give anybody a car in the church. Like, I don't see what part of the ministry, what in the Bible says that you become a pastor and then you should be able to have a jet. Who, like, where is he going? Who is he? Like, what the heck? I'm like, what's the average income at his church that he would have a jet? That's why I stopped giving him my money too. Because I used to give tithes there too. But I was like, oh, hell no. He got a jet. I can't even say how that happened because that might be exposed someone what. But when my mom called me and told me that, I said, what? Oh, hell no. You got a jet? You know what I'm saying? But it's like, if you were to go to him and say, oh, Pastor John, like, help me with this, like, you probably wouldn't do it. You know, and the same thing happened to many more pastors, right? But it's like, and that's my issue. If you have $25 million, right, instead of building a gym, nobody needs a gym. If you can't work at Planet Fitness, you're not going to come to Glen Hardin to work out. I'm really sorry. You're not doing it. Okay? They're not going to do it. So why not take the $25 million and build single family homes in PG County? You know what I'm saying? If you even sell those at like $250,000, you could build like 100 houses. And that's like, then it's like, it's income for the church because you hold the mortgage. I mean, not the church. He would have to do like a credit union for the church. And then that credit union will extend the mortgages to the church members, right? But I'm like, you know how much money for the next 30 years you would get from these people? And then on the other side, they get a house that they probably couldn't afford. So like, it's a win-win situation. And I'm like, and that's another reason why I feel like many people don't pay their tithes because it feels like it's a one-way relationship. And that's not the way it's supposed to go. That's not the way it's supposed to go. Even in the first church in the book of Acts, it was never meant to be that way. The church's money was meant to help everybody get better. It was meant to help everybody like level up, not one person leveling up. And that's the mindset and that's the mindset a lot of Black leaders have to change. A leader does not exploit his own people for your personal benefit. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you're a leader, your job is to recognize potential in all the people who follow you and help them reach their potential. That's what a leader does. This like banana republic despot mindset that we have, that's not leadership. That's abuse. That's abusive. That's being an oppressor. Because a real leader, he will bring stuff out of you. He will push you. He will motivate you. He'll show you how to be self-sufficient. Like, you know what I'm saying? He'll connect you to other people. That's what real leadership is. You know what I mean? Like, they put you in a position to win. You know what I mean? Like, they don't always let you, always like you always have your hand out. No, they put you in a place like eventually you can also take care of other people. You know? But it shouldn't just be like, even like sometimes like it's always the same people who can give $1,000. It's always the same people who can give $5,000. There's a problem. There's a problem. People should not be coming to church crying about they can't pay their apartment note, they can't pay their student loans, they can't pay the last semester when we got pastors who drive Rolls Royces. That makes no sense. That makes no sense. Because whatever money is coming in too, that money also, like, they have part of that money also should go towards helping them. You know what I mean? And that's why I hope, like, if these churches don't get any better, I really hope that the government takes away their tax status because they don't deserve it. Because it only benefits a small group. And you got to be part of the clique of the pastor or the clique of the bishop. And if you're not, you're struggling. You know, like one time, I'm not trying to be shady, but it's true. One time this lady came to Greater Mount Calvary and she said that she had been homeless, or she was homeless, right? She had no money. She was homeless. You know what I mean? And co-pastor Susie, and she went to make an offering, and co-pastor Susie took the money. I'm like, how can you take money from a woman who's homeless? Like, I understand, like, if she has that much faith in God that she wants to give the money, I get it. But like, pray on it, pray for her, and tell her to take the money. And then you bless her. Because you have, like, you have a huge Mercedes. Your husband got a huge Mercedes. What do you need $5 for? You guys, I could never. Like, Jesus, when you read the Bible, everywhere Jesus went, he fed people. Yeah, he didn't even have a job. It's like, yo, you don't even have a job. Jesus is always feeding people. Always feeding people. Like, nonstop. Like, he just likes to feed people. He's not walking around with a traveling kitchen. You know what I'm saying? He's not traveling around with like groceries. But he always found a way to feed the people. He didn't want nothing from people. He goes over there, he feeds you. He goes on the mount, he's feeding them people. The little girl, he rose her up from the dead, he fed her. When Lazarus got up, they fed his ass. Like, I mean, people just eat all the time. Before he got killed, he had the Last Supper. And he broke the bread. He said, oh, eat this in remembrance of me. And that's a piece of my body. Then he gave them wine. He said, oh, drink this in remembrance of me, because that's the blood. You know what I'm saying? But like these pastors, it's me. They eat. I'm like, where in the Bible was Jesus all about himself? He gave everything away. He had nothing. Even when he goes to Bethlehem, he didn't even have a donkey. He had to borrow. And mind you, this is Jesus, the Messiah, the Son of God, okay? Who came so that whosoever believe in him shall not perish. He didn't have no material possession. He had nothing at all. The whole time Judas was in charge of the money, he was stealing. And he knew the guy was stealing. And he didn't mind, whatever, because he was not attached to money. And you see, and that's where you see what real leadership is, right? That a real leader is not attached to things. And that's why a lot of people won't grow on to be great. Because they are attached to material things. Dr. King, he died. He only had $10,000 to his name. It goes to show you he was not attached to money. How many people, how many Black people, how many African Americans, how many even Black people globally have a street named after them everywhere you go in America? Everywhere you go, there's an MLK Street. How many Black people, African American, Black people all around the world have a holiday named after them? Okay, how many Black people in America have a whole statue monument like Abraham Lincoln? Like MLK has his own monument. Like, I have goosebumps. Like, he has a monument just like Abraham Lincoln has a monument in Washington, D.C. He has his own holiday. Everywhere you go, I don't care what city, what state you find yourself in, there is an MLK Street. You see, by wanting nothing from this world, by not being attached to the things of this world, this man got the world. He got the world. And people who are attached to things, like, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but people like, what's the Al Sharpton, when he dies, he's not going to be remembered. I'm really sorry to say that. You know what I'm saying? Al Sharpton is not going to be remembered. You know what I'm saying? The girls who started the Black Lives Matter, once again, being attached to materialism. The issue that people have with Tamika Mallory, being attached to materialism. And a real leader has to want for nothing besides seeing your people reach their fullest potential. That's the truth. That's the truth. If you are a pastor, you're not supposed to be the one who wants the car. You should want cars for your people. If you're a pastor, you say, oh, wow, I would love to have a Mercedes. You should also say, if I have a Mercedes, all my people need to also have Mercedes, so that when we pull up, we all pulling up in the German. Does that make sense? That's how you should think. If your wife says, oh, husband, I want a new fridge, and you can go to Best Buy as a pastor, and you can buy your wife a new fridge without having to think about it, she's like, oh, I wonder how many of the men in my church will be able to buy their wives a brand new fridge like I just did. And if you feel like there's not that many of them, then you got to be like, okay, I got to go to the church. I got to get my people. I need to make sure that these husbands are in a financial position that they can also go to Best Buy and buy their wives a new fridge because she wants to. If you are a male pastor, if you're a pastor and you're able to, oh, thank you, Precious. If you're a pastor and you're able to go to Paris with your wife for her birthday, you should be like, oh, I wonder how many of my people are able to go on vacation for their wife's birthday. And if you realize that it's not that many people, there's a problem that you have not equipped. You haven't equipped your members to be as financially prosperous as you. So there's a problem. So either you don't go to Paris or you teach your people how to go to Paris for their wife's birthday. That's real. And I'm like, if more of these pastors had this mindset, you would see more people go to church. You would see more young people want to be in church. You would see more people pay their tithes. So, oh, this is not a one-way thing. It's for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you pay your tithes for 5 years, you don't miss any day. You pay your tithes for 5 years, right? And let's say your tithes come out to $25,000. If today you are in a situation where you can't pay your rent, you can't pay your mortgage, right? If you go to your pastor, if they type in the computer and it's like, oh, here's Brother Kevin. For the past 5 years, he's been paying his tithes on time, and like, you know, and it comes up to 25,000, and he's also part of the usher ministry, and he's been there for 6 years. Oh yeah, the brother, he been committed, right? He been committed. Okay, Brother Kevin, what's the issue? Oh, church, you know, I really right now it's hard for me. I can't pay the mortgage. Okay, Brother Kevin, how much is the mortgage? You know, okay, the mortgage is like 2,000. Okay, since you paid 25,000, right? We can give you half of that. So we'll give you like maybe 14,000. So, you know, like, oh, 14,000, like, yeah. And then whenever you're ready, just pay it back to the church. Oh, you think if you help Kevin out this way, he will stop paying his tithes? He will pay his tithes even like until Jesus comes back. Because who else did that for him? Who else did that for him? You know what I mean? And that's the problem. You know, and that's the problem with why, that's the problem why, like, so many people, that's the problem why so many Black people don't go to church anymore. That's the problem why so many people don't give. Because they don't trust that if tomorrow I'm in a need, someone's going to help me. And that's the problem. They don't even know where the money is going in the church, as a matter of fact. And that's another problem. Because you need to tell people where the money is going. What are you doing with all this money? And how y'all buying all these cars in the first place? There's no transparency. You know what I mean? You got ATMs everywhere, but you don't have statements. You should give people statements. I think the church should send out people. They should send out statements every 6 months to let you know how much money you gave in your tithes, in your love offerings, in your whatever kind of money you gave to the church. You should be able to get your statements to see what money you gave, and then they should be able to tell you how much money is going to this, to going to that, and they should also be able to tell you in the case of emergency, this is how much money we've set aside for you. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying about you. I'm not talking about First Baptist. I'm talking about like church in general, because many churches don't do that. You know, many churches are not transparent with people. They don't tell the people what they're doing. And that to me is like, it's a very problematic, because if people don't know what you're doing with the money, how do we know you're not stealing the money? How do we know it's not like Black Lives Matter over there where y'all just go in there and do whatever you want with the money? Because many Black churches are not transparent. They're not transparent. And that to me is a very, very problematic. It's very problematic. But we definitely need for a lot of these Black pastors, because they have huge congregations. They have a lot of people who trust them. They have a lot of people who give them money without even asking any questions. So those people, these pastors too, they are, and bishops, right? They owe a lot. They owe a lot to the community. They do. Like it doesn't make sense to me that you can have a church that's this big, that has this much money, and there's still poverty in the neighborhood. I don't understand that part. You know what I mean? I really don't understand that part. I don't understand how you can have a church and people around you, like, it's just poverty everywhere. Houses are falling apart. Why don't you invest in these people's homes and help them rebuild their house? And if they can't afford it, you do it, and then maybe you put a lien on the house, or you get the deed of the house. I don't know. But there are ways. Like, if you really want to do something, there are ways to get it done. And that's one thing about white folks. Like, they never let anything stop them. They always find a way to make something happen, even if it's crazy. Like, they want to go to Mars, they'll find a way. They will find a way. If they want to go to Mercury, I'm telling you, these white people, they will find a way. Because they don't care. And that's one thing, like, I had to learn to adopt also as a Black entrepreneur, ways of white people. Like, white people do not they don't allow themselves to be discouraged, disappointed, because right now something doesn't work. They'll take a little step back and be like, okay, maybe if I change this, like if I change that. But one thing I like about white business people, they are constantly willing to change things around so they can achieve their goal. They never give up on the goal. They're not emotionally attached to the way it has to be, but they are definitely attached to the vision coming true, right? So they're very flexible. Which way should I go? What should I do? How should I attack the problem? But they will attack the problem and they will solve it. Oh, they sure will. You leave these people here long enough, they will solve the problem. They will solve the problem. And I'm like, this is the same mindset that we need to have. You want more people to come to church. Okay, but there are also more people who are financially struggling. So how do we find like a way in the middle where we can all help each other? So you grow your church base, but then people in the community also are blessed by the presence of the church. Like, that's really important. But this whole system of people gonna come there every Sunday or every Wednesday for Bible study, it's over. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful, because I love the Bible. right? But you see, me, I'm built in a way that I can love the Bible. For a lot of young people today, the Bible is boring. The Bible is very boring. Like, if you're a millennial, how the heck do you relate to Abraham? What in the world? You know what I mean? It's nice to read about all these miracles. But okay, but I don't see no miracles today though, because I'm broke. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the Bible is cute, it's nice, whatever. If you're gonna go into teaching the Bible, if you want to become a preacher, it's nice. It's a great book. You like it, you enjoy it. I like it, I enjoy it, right? But for a lot of people today, it's not that relatable. And people, they read it, they fall asleep. They read it, they get bored. You know what I mean? Because it doesn't really speak to their reality today, right? And it's like, and so when you have that issue, when there's that much dissonance with the Bible, it's like the issue is also is the church. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Kate, like it's the church also, because we haven't shown people why they need the church. We can't keep using, oh, you're going to go to hell. Oh, it's a sin, to scare people into salvation or to scare people into giving their life to Christ. It is ridiculous. Like if God is so petty that he will send someone to hell for wearing a weave, then so be it, okay? If God is like, like there are people who abuse children. There are people who commit all kinds of atrocities, okay? If God is going to punish someone to hell for wearing a bikini, then so be it. I guess to hell we shall go. Because when you consider all the great sins of this world, this is the last thing we have to worry about. So we can't keep taking hell. Oh, you're going to go to hell. You're going to go to hell to scare people to come into church. We have to show people why they need the church, not just to get salvation, but to be successful on earth, to have a community where people will be there for you, will look out for you, where you can make friends, where you can have, you can have a mother if you didn't have a mother. You can have a father if you didn't grow up with a father. You can have uncles if you never had uncles. You can have aunties if you never had aunties. You can have sisters if you're the only child. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? So it's like, that's the stuff, right? That is the stuff that like we really, really need to work on. Because when I see things, like when I see a lot of things as what's it called? As a child of God, as somebody who loves the Bible, and I love being Black, I love the Black community, and I see what's happening, I'm like, it doesn't make sense to me that the Black church will make so much money, and there's so many young people who are struggling. There's so many people who are more seduced by the world than they are seduced by the word of God, or they're seduced by the church, because I'm like, the church could do so much more for people. You know what I'm saying? The church could do so much more for people. The church could be the place where people actually pop in. You know what I'm saying? Like all the stuff we see on social media, when you see people flying private jets and you see people like, doing all these great things on social media, right? Like the church could be that place. You know what I mean? The church could be that place. Sleep with your eye open. Either you're coming to be constructive. If you want to troll, I'll just block you. Okay? So hopefully you can be mature. If you struggle with that part, I can block you from the channel. I don't like to block people, but please be respectful. Okay? You came here, nobody disrespected you. I didn't disrespect you. Nobody here is being disrespectful. So if you want to come here and mess the flow up or be ridiculous or troll, I will have to block you. So you decide how you want to proceed from this moment forward. Okay? So hopefully you'll make the right decision. You know what I'm saying? And that's why today you see so much talent. You know what I mean? Nobody cares about your years of experience. It means nothing. You know what I'm saying? Because you have 30 years, but you don't have a platform, right? I'm on my platform talking to my people, right? So if you have 30 years of experience and you know so much, you should also go build your platform. And instead of trolling in the comment section, build your platform, write your books, do your seminars, build your Instagram page, right? And share your knowledge with the people who want to learn from someone like you, okay? That's it. It's not a competition here. I'm a competition with nobody. And I'm only 36, so I don't even want to have 30 years of experience. I didn't start when I was 6. I was in school. So I don't know what the issue is, right? If you have 30 years of experience, congrats to you, okay? But this in a comment does nothing for you. Even if you really are a business person, as a professional, no one seeing you display this kind of behavior is going to take you seriously. That's not serious behavior. So if you have something constructive to say, you ask, oh, can I come on the panel and say something constructive? And I'll gladly let you in, right? But this ego thing means nothing, okay? I'm not an ego. I don't even know you to be in a competition with you. So, but build your platform, grow, start your Instagram page, write books, do your courses, share your knowledge in a constructive way, right? You don't have to demean anyone to prove anything. If you're true to this, you're true to this. It's no competition. So please stop. But I'm like, that's truly how the church should be set up. That's how people should be set up in the church. Because when you read the Bible, there's so many blessings in there. There are so many blessings in there. God has so many blessings for us. But okay, but sometimes it feels like it's unbelievers, if I could put it that way, who are living God's promises. And those who are called by his name, it seems like they're the ones who are actually struggling. Right? But I'm like, the way the world looks today is like not all of it, but like the success part. Those are things that people should easily find in the church. And so that God's children, especially the young people, should not be seduced but what's in the world. But they should continue to be encouraged by what is happening in the church. Because today, the young people today are very ambitious, right? Today's young people, they're not trying to work until they're 60-something and retire like their parents or their grandparents, right? They want to do more. They want more out of life. They want to work less and make more. They want to be more efficient. So it's like this whole premise of, oh, you're going to go to hell or you got to go to church, you need to be saved. It's like, well, that's not enough now. Today, it's not enough. You know what I mean? It's not enough today to get young people to believe in God. Right. So I'm like this. So like, I don't know. For me, it really is a problem. So I remember when we left the service that day. Okay, well, if you weren't trolling, that's good too. What I remember when we left the service that day, I was really upset. I was tight because I'm like $25 million on a building for what? He's like, oh, he put solar panels. I'm like, Pastor John, you truly could have built houses for people. You truly could have built apartment complexes for the church. You truly could have opened a bank for the church. That would have been and more people would have enjoyed that. Because I'm like, how many people are going to come to the church to work out? How many people are really going to enjoy this building? It's about an ego thing. It's an ego thing. It is such an ego thing. I'm like, that is such an ego thing. Because you want to have something big that all the other pastors, the DC area, but oh, wow, look at what he built. And it's like, it's not about that. Leadership is not about ego. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, leadership is truly, truly not about ego. Leadership is truly about service. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of times, like a lot of people think like, oh, if I'm a leader, I have to oppress people. Or if I'm a leader, I have to flex on people. If I'm a leader, I have to stunt on people. And I'm like, that's not what leadership is. Because leadership, to become a real leader, like you really have to be a humble person. You have to be a humble person. Because leadership means like you die so that other people can rise, right? You decrease so that people who are around you, people who support you, they can grow, they can find their voice, they can even be better than you. That's what real leaders are. Like, for example, when you know that you have like a great teacher, if you ever have a great professors, right? Great professors.
Thing keep kicking me off. I don't know why.
What was that? But when like, if you ever had a great professor, right? If you ever been to school, when you've been in school, right, and you think about all the teachers, the professors that you've ever had, the ones that have always motivated you to be a better student were not the ones like, oh, you're so dumb, I'm so smart, look how smart I am, right? The teachers that got you to be the best and pushed you to be the best are the people who made you feel like you were the smartest person in the world. You know what I mean? The people who saw something in you and made sure to let you know, I see something in you. Like, you're special. Like, you have this thing, I remember when I was slightly thinking about switching over from the accounting department at Mason to the math department, I was like, I took pre-calculus and I was so afraid. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to drop out because this is so hard. And it wasn't really hard. I was just scared. I was having an anxiety attack. And so, just going to do that. And I don't have time for this foolishness. And so, but when I told my Professor Granfield, I was like, oh, I am thinking about quitting. I want to I don't know if I'm going to drop out the class. Oh, Marlene, why do you want to drop out the class and everything like that? Like, you're so smart. You're so good at this. I'm like, oh, really? You think so? She's like, oh, yes, you're so amazing. Look at your homework. And I was like, okay, I guess I'll stay, right? Because I was doubting myself. But when she boosted me and she encouraged me, she's like, oh, you're so good. Like, my little ego. I was like, okay, I guess I can do that, right? And it made me feel so good. So I stayed. And next thing you know, I majored in it. Like, but it was because of her. Because when I thought about quitting, she said something to me that really made me feel good about myself. Well, if she thinks so, I guess I can. So I stayed. And I got an A+. And I was like, why was I so afraid though? And you see that sometimes sometimes you're just scared for nothing. You just have anxiety for no reason. And if you have someone who knows how to talk to you and calm you down, you'll be able to do something so freaking amazing. And that's when you see like real teachers, real leaders are like people who like, I don't know, they're so smart, but they're so humble. Like one of my other professors, Dr. Sauer. Dr. Sauer is so smart. But when I tell you he is so laid back, like I never felt threatened by how smart he was, because he never felt like he had to overtake the room and show how smart he was. But we all knew how smart he was, because the man was just like, he was just that good. Then I had another professor too, Dr. Lawrence. Oh, he's another one too. He is so smart, but when I tell you he's so quiet, he is so meek. You're like, what the heck? But if he wanted to show off and write like formulas forward and backward, he really could. But he doesn't do that. And those two, I would tell you, like every day, their doors would be wide open. Like you can go in there at any time and they'll help you out. And from them, I learned a lot about leadership. Like I'm like, just because you're super smart, just because you're super strong, you don't always have to like oppress people with it. Because people who are good leaders, they know how to. I know I'm smart, but it's not about me. It's about the people that I'm helping. Like just like this guy who came in right now. You see, that's the ego thing. I have this, I have that. Like nobody cares. No one cares. People don't care about what you have. People care about how can you use what you have. You know what I mean? People don't care about what you have. People care about how can you use what you have and help other people. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I don't like flex culture too much, because I'm like, flex culture, it centers around one person and not about look at the people that I was also able to help to get to where I am today. Does that make sense? Let me know if I'm making sense. But feel free to join the live if you want to. You don't have to, like, if you want to join in, you can, right? But I'm like that's what I would love to see more of. Not people like, oh, look, I made all this money and I made all this money. But like, can you show us like other people that you've helped to make money? Can you show us other people that probably were struggling? And now by being with you for like the past 6 months or so, this is where this is what they're doing today, right? Like, can you show us other people that you've helped besides yourself, right? And a lot of people can't. Because it's just like, it's that me mindset all the time. And I'm like, that's so self-serving. And I feel like the people who go on to do great things and be great, or like have great businesses, great companies, great stories, whatever, are people who enable a lot of people to be successful, not just them. Like that's why, like, I used to sell Mary Kay. My mom sold Mary Kay, and I sold Mary Kay too. But the thing I always liked about the story of Mary Kay from Mary Kay Ash, the lady who had the company Mary Kay with the pink Cadillac, right? I think she was in an abusive marriage. She was in an abusive marriage, and the man controlled all the money. So she sold Mary Kay, like she sold the cosmetics, so she could make her own money and get up under that man and be able to be self-sufficient, right? But you see, the thing with Mary Kay is like she didn't want to make money for herself. She wanted to help other women make money too. You know what I mean? And that's the same thing, even like with Madame C.J. Walker too. Like Madame C.J. Walker, how she made those millions of dollars, it wasn't just her selling directly to people. It wasn't just her like, oh, I have my stuff at a retailer, go and buy it, right? Madame C.J. Walker, the reason why she made so much money too, she had ladies that would sell for her. She had sell agents in different towns, different cities, different states. So she would send them the product, and then they would sell the product for her. And then they would also make a cut so everybody would eat. So she had affiliates. That's exactly what they are. That's why she was able to make so much money and take over. She was not the only one to do hair products. She was not the only one to have great hair products, but she was probably the only one that had a system where it's like, okay, if you sell my product, you get paid too. So we both eat. Now, you're not going to eat as much as I do, but you're going to get something. And for a lot of ladies who used to be like maids for white people and maybe like make like 10 cents a day or whatever, right? Or, it was a way for you to be financially independent. It was a way for you to get your respect back, right? It was a way for you to not have to work these like demeaning jobs for white people. She gave people an opportunity. She gave people a way to be respected and respectable, right? She gave these Black women, an opportunity to be women. not be some maid or some N-word or, having to, because, me, Marlene, I couldn't do it, because I don't know what it's like to be a maid in like the 19 whatever to a racist white family. I don't think I have it in me. So thank God I was born when I was born, but you see that was her business model. And that's the reason why she was able to be successful. And so you realize that people who truly become super, super, super successful are people who don't say, oh, look what I bought. Look what I drive. Look how much money I have, right? But it's people who help other people to reach their fullest potential. That makes sense, Scorpio, since you're the only one here. If you guys want to call in, here's the number. That's it. No. Give me the right number, 542. So this is the number if you want to call in too, right? Because I would like for you guys to call in and share your point of view, But it's like, that's even with the stock market, right? People buy the stocks from companies that are most promising. Like if people feel like more people can make money off your business, a lot more people will buy a stock in your company because they feel like you have the right team, you have the right vision, you have the right product, you understand what the customer wants. Like Amazon, you don't have to beg people to buy an Amazon stock, right? You don't have to go beg people to buy an Apple stock because people could tell, yeah, they're going to be around for a long time. They're going to make more money. And so the more money they make, there's more money for us to pass around. So people go there, right? So it's like, and that's what I'm gonna say to people too. Like if you have a business, if you're working on a business, right, you need to find a way that it's not just you that's going to eat from the business, but you need to also make a way that other people, if they do join or they do help you, that you can cut them something too. Because the more people eat in a business, the more you can make more people make money out of your business idea, you're going to have a lot more people want to help you. But if it's just a business that you make for yourself, just to make yourself rich, it's going to be a lot harder because, okay, I help you, but then it's like, what do I get out of it, right? So you want to have businesses like where it's like, okay, you help me and I help you too. Like we help each other. Scorpio, you want to say something? Because I thought no one was talking.
Oh, no, I'm listening. I enjoy what you're saying.
Oh, you're just listening today?
Yeah.
Yeah. Does that make sense, you guys? Like that's what you want to do, because when you do that, more and more people will want to help you because now more people are invested in you being successful. And when you have more people invested in you being successful besides just yourself, you're going to find success. You're going to find success. So that's the community I'm trying to create right now. But I'm like, we can start small and then see how it goes and see how everybody likes it. Hopefully it should be good. I have other groups that I've ran on Instagram and they've done really well. We have like Susu groups that we do. One group we had, it was for 200. That also went well. We have one for 500. We have another one for 1,000. Now, one thing I would like to do also, but once we get there, if we have enough people, but I would like to do a group, like kind of like the Susu group again, but where it's like for business owners, and maybe it can go up to like $10,000 because a lot of time, if you don't have enough money and you buy your inventory with a little bit of money, you're not saving as much money as you could. Like if you could buy stuff at wholesale, like real wholesale, you could truly make more. Like I remember one time I went to Michael's and this lady, this black lady, she makes shirts, right? But it's like she waits to have an order. Then she goes to Michael's to buy the shirt. Then she buys that, what's that thing they call the thing that you press on it? The film. It's like it's for the, oh my gosh. You have to press it with the iron, and then that's how you do like all the design stuff, right? So she waits to get an order. Then she goes to buy the t-shirt. Then she goes to buy all the supplies that she needs. But I'm like, so I was like, but how much money are you going to make on the shirt though? You know what I'm saying? Because that's expensive, right? Hey, saying what's that? So it's like, it will be best if you bought your shirts at wholesale. And I even said to her, like, even you printing your shirts, I don't know if that's sufficient, because it would probably be better if you can find someone who already has a mass printer and you take your orders to that person and have them print your shirts for you. So that way you can be more competitive and make more money off your shirts, right? But a lot of times too, like people can't do that because they don't have the money to do that. So they have to wait for an order to come in, then they go buy the stuff. And when you work like that, it's so hard. It's harder. It's more expensive. Oh, my stuff came. Thank you. You know what I mean? It's more expensive it's not really productive that way. So what you want to do is like, you want to be able to have that kind of cash flow, especially as we get like towards the holiday season. You know, a lot of businesses, like a lot of Black-owned businesses, could really use like money ahead of time so that you can plan your holiday season ahead of time. But if it's just you, it might be harder. But if you have a group with other business owners, there's ways that we can make things happen, you know, as a group, so that other people can get help and get what they need so that you don't have to struggle. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people struggle for stuff that, honestly, if they had the right group surrounding them, like, they wouldn't have to struggle for that kind of stuff. So that's what I want to do. Like, that's what I want the group to be about. So it's gonna be a lot more than just like the money thing. But businesses get to know more people, meet like-minded people, share ideas with people, take courses from the group also, because I have many people who follow me who have great education, who know a lot. They can also come on and they'll share what they know. And then we'll do those things like over Zoom. Like, we can have those meetings. Like, we'll most likely have those meetings over Zoom. This would just be like coming in and kind of like tell you guys about it, right? And then I think like on Sunday, like Sunday, we can do a Zoom meeting on Sunday. I'll give you guys the link, or I'll give you guys the email where you can email me. Is Lena teach as well? Oh yeah, here's the email. If you want to get the link, you know, you email that address, and then that way I know who's emailing me, and I can make sure you get the link for Sunday. So we can do it like Sunday night on Zoom. All right. So like that way we can see each other's face. I mean, y'all obviously see my face, but y'all can know each other's faces and like, you know, tell your story and like why, like what would you like to do? Like, you know, we have about like 6 months left in the year, just about, right? So it's like, what would you like to accomplish for the rest of the year? Like, what would you like to do? You know, because sometimes too, like if you share what you want to do, if you share your stuff out loud, you know, it's motivation. And not just that, you share your stuff out loud with other people. You know, you'll have people who want to hold you accountable. You know what I'm saying? You'll have other people who want to hold you accountable and make sure that you're able to do what you want to do. But whether like if you're doing wigs, if you're trying to be a YouTuber, whatever you're trying to do, I don't know. You know, I would love for you to join us. And to be part of it, you know, so we can start something, and hopefully in the next 6 months or by December. The problem is people want to gain money and spend money, not make money. The problem is people want to gain money and spend money, not make money. Yeah, I think a lot of people, you know, the thing is like, you know, we have a culture too that makes it seem like, you know, you just got a ball out of control. So I think sometimes it's immaturity. Sometimes it's not knowing better. Sometimes also maybe like not being surrounded by the right kinds of people does make you feel like, oh, I got to flex all the time. I have to spend money all the time, you know. But I think eventually when people get into the right groups with the right kind of people can change that mindset. You know what I'm saying? A lot of that stuff is kind of immature. Resin said it's less expensive when you have your own tools to come. Yeah. You know what I mean? And sometimes also you might not want to do it. Like, you know, there is time where it's like, it might be less expensive if you have your own tools and equipment. There are other times also, it might even be way less expensive if you have someone who has a bigger factory just do it for you. Right. But like I said, like, especially when we talk about the t-shirt stuff, right? The t-shirt thing is optimal if you can buy a bunch of t-shirts at once. Like you can buy like your small, your extra small, your medium, your large, your extra large. You buy them in bulk, like a whole, like boom, you know, and then you just have it. Because that way the cost goes really low, right? Or like if you have I forgot what it's called. Like they sell at Michael's. It's like for the print stuff, like, you know, for the pattern stuff like that. That vinyl, is it called vinyl? Is that what it's called? Like vinyl for the shirt, you know. I'm like, if you got to go buy vinyl at Michael's every time you have an order, like how much are you going to make off a t-shirt? I'm like, that's not sustainable. Like you're not going to be able to make an income, like, you know, working that way. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, you see, you know, but like, and these are the issues that arise when people are just by them. Like when you just work by yourself, you do everything by yourself. Like it's a lot harder to do things by yourself. It truly, truly is. It really is difficult. And I'm like, damn, I'm like, wow, that's crazy. You know what I mean? Like I see people like who pour their own lipstick and I'm like, damn, when are you going to be done with that? That's crazy. Like, are you not tired? Like, I'm like, this is crazy. This is really crazy. But many times people, I guess they don't have a choice because that's all they know. But I prefer that people try to not work so hard and like make things so difficult. You know what I mean? It's best if you can try to get people to help you. You don't have to do things by yourself. And I think that's another thing that we do also a lot as a people. Like, we like to do things by ourselves. Like, we have this pride complex. Like, there's this one chick, right? I'm not going to say too much so you don't know who it is, but there's this one chick. And I remember one time the Lord said to me, Marlene, go talk to her, because I think, like, he was telling me that she wasn't at her best. So I went to check on her, and she was like, oh, I'm okay. I have no problems. I have no issues. And I'm like, are you sure? She said, yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's really toxic, Daisy. So I went to her because, like, when God talks to me, I know for a fact. So I said, okay, let me go check on her, right? And so she's like, oh, she's okay. She has no problem. She's good. Everything is good. Da, 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 da. Okay, cool. Then yesterday, she sends me a message. Oh, Marlene, how are you? I'm like, I'm good. And God said, Marlene, she needs something. So I'm playing the game. When I tell you, I know Black women like the back of my hand. So the Holy Spirit says to me, she needs something, right? So she's like, oh, she was having a problem. Like, she was really sad. She wasn't doing good. Da, da, da. And I was like, but if you remember, right? Last time I came to you and I said, the Lord said to me to check on you because you're not doing okay. And you said, no, you were fine. She's like, oh, I don't want to be a bother. I don't want to be a bother. Like, I haven't set the meeting up yet. But I was like, if you can email me here, I will come back. We can decide on the time. Like, what will be a good time tomorrow? You guys can let me know. You know what I mean? And now here you are. Okay? So, like, I'm like, I don't understand. And I said to her, if you need help with this thing, I can help you. If you need help with designing, I can help you. If you need help with this, I can help you. But it's like, I don't know why Black women like to act like they're okay. You're not okay. Just say it. Because, like, she wants help. And I'm not going to lie to you. She wants help with design. She wants me to help her with her packaging. But she can't bring herself to say, Marlene, it's like, and that's like, it's that, not something like, that's that immaturity I can't deal with. Say what you mean what you say. Say what you need. And it's okay. Like, everybody needs help from people. You know what I'm saying? Like, for as much as, like, you might think I know everything, but there are things I don't know too. I go and I ask other people, like, oh, how do you do this again? Because I have no clue how you do this, right? We all have our skills. That everybody has their strengths and their weaknesses. Maybe, like, I know how to lean on my strengths more than I know my weaknesses, right? But like this lady, the Lord specifically said to me, Marlene, she needs help. And it's many of them like that too, right? It's the pride that kills people. It's the pride that kills a lot of Black people. It is the pride that kills a lot of Black businesses, because people are too prideful. They'd rather have their businesses drown than to say, can you please help me? There's another girl I know, Danielle, but she's on my other account and I'm locked out right now. But Danielle, she has a hair company, right? And when I was doing an event one time, 2018, I had an event. She came from Dallas or Houston. She drove, she came to my event. And we kept in touch after that. And so she has a hair care company. And she was going through it financially with the business, right? And it was like the business could have gone like nosedive. But she sucked her pride and she told people she needed help. She needed money. She was trying to raise $10,000. So she opened a Kiva campaign, right? You know what I mean? And she was like, the first time she didn't really want to do it because she felt like she was begging for money. And she's a flight attendant. So she's a flight attendant. And she was like, well, if I ask people for $10,000, they were like, oh, you're begging, or what did you do with your money? You work, so how come you don't have money? So all that stuff like was playing in her head. So that's why she wanted to do it at first. And even when she did it, because with the Kiva campaign, I believe when she told me you had 30 days to raise the money. So if you don't raise the whole amount, that you don't get the money. The money goes back to the people. It's kind of like Kickstarter. If you don't raise the whole dollar amount, it goes back to your donors, right? So initially, like the first like week or so, she wasn't really into it because thinking about how people would perceive her as a beggar, as somebody who's financially irresponsible, but don't you have a job? Da, da, da. So she didn't really want to push, like, oh, if it happens, it happens. But then one day she said she was on the flight and something kicked in, like, who cares? And from that moment on, she became aggressive. Like, she started pursuing people like, can you help me, please? And she raised the money. She raised the money because she was trying to use the 10,000 to like revamp like she wanted to redo her packaging, redo her logo. Like she wanted to revamp and stuff, right? And she got it. She got it. And she did it. Like her new bottles were so pretty. I wish I remember what her company was called, but it was so cute. And even before, because she has like those spray, it's like a clear bottle, but you put your leave-in conditioner, then you have to spray. And because she used to order so little at a time, like sometime when she would go back to order, the supplier didn't have it. So she would have to wait. I mean, she was having all kinds of issues with her stuff because she didn't have the money. But when she got that 10,000, she got her new logo. She redid her bottles. She was able to order more of those, like, they're like these clear spray bottles. They're huge like that, you know? And I said to her, like, Danielle, I'm so proud of you. And we did a live on my other Instagram. And that's what I want to do. Like, I'm going to try to have, I'm going to try to have like more lives here with other Black-owned businesses, because I know a lot of them. I know so many. There's even Amika. She also has a company called Strengths of Faith, right? She actually built a shed in her backyard. This lady is crazy, you know, because she was like, she needed more space and she didn't have the money to get the warehouse stuff. So she built a shed in the backyard. When I tell you in less than a month, I kid you not, because her company is called Strengths of Faith, right? Her name is Amika Coleman. She's African-American. She is in Mississippi or Alabama. She's not far from me. Okay. Listen to the story, you guys. I kid you not. This is the company. You could be like, Marlene sent you. She's so sweet. Strengths of Faith is the business, right? And this is her name. If you type it on Instagram, you will find her, right? When I tell you, I got to fix my thing so I can share the screen. She built the shed in the backyard. Listen to me well, because the company is called, because she's a Christian, and like she built her company around her faith. Okay. Like, so everything is by faith. Like that's just how she runs her business, is by faith. So the business is called Strengths of Faith. So like every single hair on your head is like a strand of faith. Does that make sense? You know what I'm saying? You get that? Okay, cool. So she built a shed in the backyard because it was becoming too much for the house. When I tell you that in less than 30 days, I said, Amika, the way your faith is set up, there's going to be overflow. So they got the shed ready, put the shelves in there. Then she started putting up the product. When I tell you, like in less than 30 days, that the she shed was overflowing. Because the reason why she got the she shed, because she didn't want to get the warehouse. She didn't want to commit to a warehouse, and she was afraid. In less than 3 months, sis has a warehouse. And then it's like stuff is just coming. When I tell you, like, it's like, go on the page, you'll see it, please. You guys, and we did a live too, right? I'm like, Amika is the sweetest. Like, she is super sweet. Super, super sweet. I was trying to see if I can have her on the, if we can do like a StreamYard together so y'all can get to know her, right? Super sweet, right? But it's like one thing that you will learn in business, Black women, loosen your lips, okay? Loosen your tongue, like loosen your mouth. Speak it out. Speak. If you need help, say you need help. If you need support, say you don't assume people know what you need, because they might think you're okay. Because a lot of us, we like to act like we're self-sufficient, but we're really not. Like on the inside, you want help, but then your mouth can't say it because your pride is set up. Like, listen, one thing you'll learn as a business person, as an entrepreneur, you ain't got no pride. You can't afford pride. Like, pride is just too expensive. Okay? You have to be shameless. Even me, there are times like we have to do stuff for the collections because everything is so customized. Like, I'm always having to pay for stuff. And some days I don't have it. I'm like, oh, can you put me on a payment plan? I holler at you in 30 days. Oh, okay, Marlene, we can do that. That's fine. I'm telling you. You know, sometimes people know, like, okay, people know because, like, oh, it's the first time I'm doing a palette, you know, and they see, like, people know. When you work every day nonstop for 2 years with people, they know you're serious. Like, most of my suppliers, they know I'm serious because I'm like, this girl is too intense. I'm with them every single night. For, like, the past 2 years, I don't sleep. And people see that, they respect. So when I said, oh, I can't do it today, but give me 30 days. Because, like, right now, we have to make molds and pans and stuff for the bee palette. I'm like, child, when does this end? You know, I said, girl, can you put me on a payment plan? I'll holler at you at the end of June. She's like, are you sure, bro? I'm like, yeah, end of June. You wait. Because I'm like, yo, like, You see, I have batches of people I pay, like, so this month is this group, right? The next month is this group. Then, like, the other month is this group, right? I'm like, so, like, you have to open your mouth. You know, like, you're like, oh, you're afraid to ask for a payment plan. But guess what? Sephora, companies like Sephora, company like Ulta, companies like Neiman Marcus, Nordstrom, all these retailers, right? They don't pay right away. When you go to a store, you go to Sephora, you see Urban Decay, you see Morphe. No, sorry, you go to Sephora, you see Urban Decay, you see Anastasia. They don't get paid right away. There is a term in accounting, they call like 30 days net or 45 days net or even 60 days net. Hey, Eventia, it means like you get paid 30 days. Like, so you drop the invoice and then they'll pay your invoice within 30 days, or they'll pay your invoice within 45 days, or they'll pay your invoice within like 60 days, right? Every company is different. Right? So a lot of these retailers, Sephora, $1 billion company, Ulta, $1 billion company, Neiman Marcus, $1 billion company. And guess what? They pay people late. Oh, we'll pay you in 30 days. But give us, because the stuff is on there on consignment. Nordstrom, the stuff is there on consignment. When you go and you see all these UGG boots, you see all this MAC stuff, you see the YSL purses, all the stuff you see in these stores, it's on consignment. So the brand gives the stuff up front. You give the invoice and you give the stuff, right? And then they'll pay you 30 days later, 45 days later, or even 60 days later. And you just wait. You wait. So it goes to show, like, even rich people don't pay their bills right away. I'm not trying to be funny, but it's real. It's real. It's real. And so, like, those are things that you're going to have to learn to, like, it's okay to ask for a payment plan. It's okay, but okay, can I pay in 30 days because my head hurts? Because it's like, listen, if those who can actually afford to pay their bills, you know what I mean, make people wait 30 days, you should also make people wait a little bit. Like, hey, can you wait a little bit because it's too much? That's just the way it is. That's the way of business. Like, I kid you not. So you'll see, like, if you ever see net 30 days, net 45, net 60, it means you get paid 30 days after your invoice, or 45 days after your invoice, or 60 days after your invoice. That's how a lot of people do business. They don't pay people right away, because if you always go in and take out money like that, it messes up your cash flow. And you got to work your books. Like me, I didn't know that, right? But it's like, it's true. You have to finesse. You know what I mean? So if you need something, you need to say it. Like, let's say you want to work with someone. Okay, like, I charge this much. You might not have the money. Tell them, I don't have the money. This is what I have, right? So can you put me on a payment plan? They might say yes. Like, you know what? Okay, sure, whatever. Because it's like, but you might have to sign an agreement though, right? So you sign the agreement, but they're like, okay, cool. But it's like, some people, as long as they get paid, they don't care to have all the money up front. And if they like you, if they like your idea, they like your vision, they might be more flexible that way. So I'm telling you, you have to open your mouth. Stop thinking that, oh, if I ask for a plan, they're going to think I'm broke. Oh, well, who cares if they think you're broke? You actually are broke. So it's like, and let me also tell you this, right? Let me tell you another thing that you have to learn to live with. Okay, this whole thing about being broke, people calling you broke, like, when you become an entrepreneur, you got to be comfortable with that word, because most likely you are. It is like, it's the nature of the business, right? So it's not your identity. It's not on your birth certificate. It's not like, you know what I mean? It's transient. It's like, it's for a moment in time. Like, it's not your whole life is going to be broke, right? But there are sacrifices that you make when you are building a business. So don't let anybody get in your head, in your spirit, in your soul, because you broke. Yeah, you broke. Yeah, I'm broke. Even America is broke. The country is broke. That's why they do like T-bonds. The T-bonds, the bonds, which determine the interest rate. That's how America borrows money. The country's broke. You have T-bonds, you have municipal bonds. Like, most of the states are broke. Okay? Most municipalities are broke. You know what I'm saying? Like, China has America has a debt. So I'm like, if America is broke, who are you not to be broke? I'm just saying, like, so when you think about this whole broke thing, like, don't let that get to you, right? Don't like, oh, they don't think I'm broke. It doesn't matter. You know where you're going, right? As long as you overcome that situation, that's all that matters, right? There are many people who are broke too, but they dress rich. So, child, I got to a place like, that don't mean nothing to me. I don't have it. Can I pay in 30 days? You know what I'm saying? And you get to a point like, it really means nothing to you, because it's like, that's the nature of business. And a lot of these big white businesses that didn't have investors, they be broke too. Because it goes to show you how capital intensive a business is. Like, running a business is really capital intensive. It really is. You need money to run a business, right? So if you're self-funded, sheesh, it's going to be hard. Okay. So don't attach who you are, what you mean as an individual, hey Allison, your worth as an individual with your current bank account. It don't matter. When you run a business, sometimes it's up, sometimes it's down, sometimes it's even keel, sometimes that's just the nature of business. Don't take it personally, right? In the first few years of business, it won't be like this. You know what I'm saying? But hopefully we can get to a place where it stays really high and it stays high every single day. Right? Oh, thank you, Char. Right? But don't let this whole, they gonna think I'm broke. They gonna think, because all this thinking, people gonna think you're broke is why people either do scams, or it's another reason why people don't open their mouth and say that they need help. When you look at places like Kickstarter, Indigo, I Fund Woman, all these crowdfunding sources, right? You don't even see that many Black businesses on there raising capital because people are embarrassed to say, I need money. And it's like, white people are always asking for money, but nobody calls them beggars. Elon Musk is always raising money. There's not a single company in America that doesn't raise money. That's what the stock market is. People raise money every single day on the stock market. People and that's another thing you'll have to learn, which at first I didn't want to do it, but you get to a point where you have to be comfortable understanding that as a business owner, your job is always going to be, you got to raise money for the business. I have to raise money for the business, whether it's like through asking for investors directly, looking for angel investors, or coming out with amazing products people are going to love. But your job as the CEO of your business is to raise money. You need to bring money to the business, not just for what you want to do today, for what you want to do tomorrow, and what you want to do 5 years from now. So you have to get comfortable around fundraising, you guys. I kid you not. You got to get comfortable. You have to get comfortable, because one day you might have to go pitch for 100,000. Another day you might have to go pitch for 500,000. Another you might have to go pitch for $1 million, for 5 million. So if you're not even comfortable pitching for $2, how are you going to be comfortable in front of people asking for $1 million? You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to prepare yourself for what you really want to do. You know what I'm saying? Like you guys, I'm telling you, please listen to me. Don't do what I did. Okay, I don't have 30 years of experience, but I have enough experience to let you know. What makes a great CEO is that you are comfortable raising money. Everywhere you go, you're comfortable talking about your business. Oh, this is what I do. Oh, this is what I do. Are you interested? Are you interested? And guess what? A lot of people think you're crazy. Lots of people are like, what the heck? No, I'm not interested. It's okay. You're just practicing for the right person. Don't take it personally. Don't take it personally. You know what I'm saying? But maybe sometimes you should stand out on the streets and tell people what you do, just so that you kind of you stop having so much ego. Have no pride, have no ego. Like, be easy going, easy peasy. Like, oh, it is what it is. Oh, he said no. Oh, I clean houses. Would you like me to clean your house? Like, that's what you do. Because most business people who are very successful, they're shameless. They are very shameless. They will run up on somebody. They will stalk someone. They will harass the banker every day of the week. They are very, very aggressive, crazy ass people. And people are like, you know what? Here, just take the money and leave me the hell alone. Right? But it's true. It's true. You know what I mean? It's really true. It is really true. But oh, it's okay. I got this. You're not going to make it, sis. You're not going to make it. You're not going to make it by yourself. You have to open your mouth and tell people, hey, guys, I'm raising this. Even if it's raising the 500, like, what the heck? It's okay. They might think you're crazy, but raise 500. See if you can get people to even give you $500. And if they say no, don't start cussing them out or be mad or oh, I hate you. You're not really my friend. No. Business people, we can't take rejection personally. If your people say no, it's okay. Like, can you tell me why you said no, or maybe how I can improve to say no? Because I'm really trying to practice, because I believe that one day I'm going to pitch for $1 million, right? So this is like me practicing, right? And then your people will give you feedback. Like, okay, you didn't tell me why. Like, what's in it for me? Like, oh, okay. So the next time you pitch, okay, like, oh, if you do this, this is that's also what's going to be in it for you also, right? But it's like hey, Anifa, right? Don't take stuff personally. I used to take stuff personally too. I'm like, no, Marlene, this has nothing to do with you. It's business. Like, it could be that right now you're not a good fit for them, or right now, or you didn't know how to sell yourself. So don't be mad. See how you can improve, right? Don't take nothing personal. Like, there are these girls, right? He said, how familiar are you with proposal writing? I've never written proposal writing, so I don't lie. I don't say things I have never done. You know what I'm saying? But my thing is, what is the proposal for? You want to come on the live, Ransom? Come on the live. Come talk to us. Get on the stream here. You don't have to turn your camera. Come on the live and talk to me, right? But maybe if you want to propose something to like a big people, can you maybe start with family and friends? Can you write a proposal for $500, right? And see how many of your friends and family can do it. And if they say no, don't cuss them out. You know what I mean? Don't cuss them out. Don't block them. Don't stop talking to them. Ask them like, why did you say no? And just take that. Because when you have a business, you might have a great product. You think it's everything and all that, but people don't want it. You know what I mean? You can't cuss your, oh, fuck you bitches. Y'all know shit. You know what I mean? I know what the fuck I'm doing. I'm King Kong to this bitch. Like, what the fuck? What is wrong with you? Right? No, it could be that it's not hitting. It's not giving what it should give. Don't cuss people out. Ask the customer, like, why aren't you buying it? They'll tell you, right? It could be, oh, the price or the names or the color, the combination. No, oh, okay. And you see, once you fix it, here they are, they're buying it. You know what I mean? So it's like everything is about feedback. And I think a lot of times, especially for females, we take feedback too personally. Girls get upset too much, right? Don't take it like that. It's not personal, it's business. They're not, if somebody says no to you or no to giving you money, they're not saying no to you, the person. They're saying no to your idea. But you got a big old head. You can come up with another idea or you can make this idea better. Don't take anything personally. Right? Like with the Nigeria collection, like when I did it, I was like, okay, we're going to do the green one first, right? But I was like, that green one, even I knew it was too colorful. I was like, this is a very colorful palette and many people are going to be scared, right? So I was like, okay, let's do a peach one that's going to be more neutral. And I was right. The peach one, I sell more of the peach than the Nigeria one. But I'm not here, oh, you dumb bitches. Y'all know shit about makeup. Fuck you hoes. You know, like, what the heck? You can't do that. You know, because, you know, first of all, they ain't got to buy shit to begin with, right? But it's like, for some people, it's too much. So I gave them two options. You have Nigeria 1, you have Nigeria 2. Now we're working on the B. So then there'll be a third option because there are people who didn't like Nigeria 1, didn't like Nigeria 2. It's not that they're saying no to me. They're not saying it's not beautiful. It's just that if I'm going to spend $100, this is not convincing enough for me. No problem. The B is coming out, right? Then we got like 3 more after that, right? So you realize that like in business, it's not personal. Don't take stuff personally, right? Take things in the way that every rejection you get, is to your benefit. When you start looking at rejection as something that's also beneficial to you, you're going to be able to level up so much more. Like there was a fund that I went to and they said, no, I said, no problem. You know, and they're like, oh, they've raised $50 million. Oh, you know what? I want to raise $50 million too. But before I can even get to a place where I can raise 50 million, right? Maybe I should start by raising even like 3,000 or like maybe start by raising $10,000. Like, see, like, you know, you got to start everybody wants to start at like number 1. This is crazy. This is crazy. And that's the huge disease with social media, right? It's making people feel like if you don't start up at number 1, then what's the point of starting or just quit? It's like, who starts at number 1? You know what I mean? Who start even number 1? People who become number 1 is because they work harder than other people. So you can't just, oh, I want to start there too. Everybody wants to start where the glory is, where the fame is, where the recognition is. But it's like, sometimes, most of the time, you start in the gutter, okay? Then from the gutter, you graduate to the street, okay? Then from the street, you graduate to like, maybe like the road and then the highways. And then, you know, then you get to that place where it's like, you are like, you're set, right? But like, even Beyonce, it took her like 20 plus years to become Beyonce. But there was a time, once upon a time, that nobody knew who she was. Where people liked Aaliyah more than like her. Where people probably didn't even see it for her because they were so in love with Aaliyah. You know, she could have given up too because Aaliyah was huge. Like, it's not a joke. Like, Aaliyah was huge. I wouldn't want to be in Aaliyah's competition. Like, oh, girl, it's too much, right? It's too much. But guess what? There's always a window of opportunity for anybody that doesn't give up. You just got to hang on tight enough for when your window comes in. But in the meantime, you practice with what you have. You practice with what you know. You start with what you got, right? So it's like, let's say like somebody said, oh, write a proposal for $10,000. Okay, cool. If you've never raised $10,000, It might be hard for you to know how to write a proposal to win $10,000, but maybe you could write a proposal for $1,000, right? And then you think about like, how many friends do you have? You guys, I promise you, if you're not greedy, listen to me well, okay? If you're not greedy and if you're patient, you're going to get the money that you want. Because $1,000 is nothing more than 100 people giving you $10. Thank you, Rona. Okay, so if you could sit down one day and think about 100 people you could ask $10 from, you would get your $1,000. It's not that hard. That's why I say, if you're patient and if you're not greedy, you're gonna get it, right? If you have 10 people who can give you 100, that's 1,000. You see what I mean? But a lot of times, like, we just want that. We want the money right away, or we want one person to solve all of our problems. Well, I don't know. It usually doesn't work that way. You know what I'm saying? It usually does not work that way. But if you're not greedy, if you can take a little bit at a time from a lot of people, you're going to get it. You're going to get it. So instead of being mad that there's not that one person that, or God didn't just drop the money at your door, stop wasting your time being upset, being mad. Oh, this person should have, could have, would have helped me. Girl, they didn't do it. What we going to do? Like, we can't stop. We got to keep moving, right? But maybe we can find 100 people that'll give you $10. That's not too bad. You know what I'm saying? And before you know it, you have 1,000. And then if you can prove to those 100 people that you did something meaningful with the $10 they gave you, next time you might be able to finesse $20. You know what I mean? You might be able to finesse 20. And if you get 2,000 and you show people that you did something meaningful with 2,000, you might be able to finesse a little $30. You know, everything is about, I'm telling you, it took me 2 years to do these things, right? If I had wanted to do like the palettes, like, oh, I got to have the money to do it, I wouldn't have done it. Because where are you going to get this kind of money from, Marlene? Ooh, who's going to give it to you? What bank? Who is going to give you? The girl goes to down somewhere. You know what I mean? But if you are patient, if you don't mind 2 years, you can do it, which is what ended up happening, right? It took me like almost 2 years to do it. So like the past 2 years, I've been paying little at a time. But the thing about little at a time, over a long period of time, it becomes a lot. So then and that's one thing I've recognized, like, it's not about how quickly you can do it. It's about doing it no matter what. You know what I mean? And that's the way I used to be. Like, before depression, I had to get it done. I got to do it by any means necessary. This new Marlene, 36 years old, right? She's not trying to do it right now, but she just wants to do it eventually. So as long as I can do it eventually, I'm okay with it. You know what I mean? Like, because the collection is a lot. Like, we have the palettes, you have the mirror, you have their lip products, there's their pigments, there's so much to it. I couldn't afford to do it all of it at once. So I did what I could little by little. And here we are today, right? And we're still not done, because there's the mirrors, there's so much, and then there's like the marketing side of it. It's like, child, you know what I mean? Oh, you're welcome, Kaya. You know, so that's my thing. Sometimes you think God didn't hear your prayer. No, your time period is just too short. Can we like increase it by a year? Instead of trying to do something in 3 months, can you make peace with doing it in 12 months? You know what I'm saying? Like, is it really that big of a deal? It's like, no. You know what I'm saying? And my thing is, sometimes when you, instead of doing it in 3 months, when you do it in 12 months, it's actually going to be so much better, because now you have more time for, just like a paper, right? If you wait until the night before to write a paper, it's not going to be the best, even if you're the greatest writer. Because when you do stuff and you're rushing, when you reread the stuff, sometimes your own brain fills in the gap. You know, your brain does that. Like, sometimes, like, you'll read something, especially if you're not reading it out loud, your brain will fill in the gaps, and come to find out there's a word that's missing. Like, your thing makes no sense, you know? But if you write your paper, like, maybe a month ahead, you write, like, you have time to do like your little outline. You have time to write it. You have time to read it. You got time to leave it, do other things, come back to it. You're like, oh, wow, I didn't even see this comma there. Why? Because you had time to write, leave it alone, do other things, come back to it. And by the time you turn it in, it's so much better. Why? Because you had so much, you took your time. You weren't stressed. You weren't exhausted. Like, and it was actually fun. Like, it's actually even more, and yeah, exactly. Like, it's more enjoyable. Like, you will catch more mistakes. You can even send it to your professor for a revision. You can send it to other people to look at it. You know what I mean? It's so much better. But when you want to do the paper the night before, I mean, like, I don't know what we're gonna do over here. You like, if you're lucky, if you're that good of a writer, you might get like a C or a B minus. But you recognize that to write a great paper that's gonna get you an A plus, you want to start as soon as possible, because the sooner you start on the paper, the more time you can have an amazing outline, and then you can give the outline to your professor to see what do they think about the outline. You know what I mean? Okay, if they like it, you say, okay, now I can write. If they don't, you know how to change before, instead of wasting your time writing stuff and then deleting all kinds of paragraphs, right? You know what I mean? But if your professor approves your outline, then you can go, okay, now I got to go do the research so I can find, like, for this paragraph, where can I find a good argument? For this paragraph, where would I find a good argument? For that paragraph, where can I find a great argument, right? And then, like, and so it's more structured that way. Then you can write it. Some schools also, they have a writing center. You know, but those things too, like, you have to book an appointment. If you wait until the last minute, most appointments are taken because everybody else is waiting until the last minute. You know what I'm saying? So you start to see, like, people who have A pluses in school are usually people who get started way in advance. They give themselves, like, more leeway. They give themselves enough room on the tarmac. You know what I'm saying? Like, you go to the airport. Why are these airports are super long, and the majority of it is road. It's the tarmac, because these airplanes are so big. You like. And like a helicopter can, like, land on something that's big, right? Because it just drops. But the thing about the plane, it needs to land, and it's like there's drag because it has to like, you know, ride out for a minute before it can actually stop, right? So it needs a longer road to land on. It needs more road than a helicopter. Right. So when you're talking about, like, doing a business, when you're talking about your destiny, when you're talking about building something substantial, your road cannot be this short. You're going to crash. You know what I mean? You are going to crash, because what you're carrying, when you're talking about a business, when you're talking about a destiny and things like that, that the load is too heavy. So when you want to drop that out here in these streets, like, you need as much road as you can to allow you to have, like, to peacefully break. But if a plane lands too hard, too fast, too soon, and is breaking, it will go up in flames, because too much friction creates fire. You know, like, that stuff is real. Stuff is real. Like, you know, physics is real. You know what I mean? Gravity is real. Friction is real. These things are real. And you might not think about it like that, but the same things apply to business. You have an idea, you go too fast, too soon, yeah, you might crash and burn. And that crash and burn is cash flow problems, right? You can have cash flow problems, or you can have depression problems. You can have all kinds of issues, right? Because you were doing too much, too fast, too soon. So sometimes, instead of asking God to do it in 3 months, whatever, you've told God that's what you want to do, right? Step back. Let him guide how long it's going to take. There's no rush. Don't stop looking at her. Stop looking at them, how much they're making. Nobody care. You can come from behind them and get ahead of them. And that's what the Lord said. He said he would take the least of them and make them the first. So right now you can be last, and you can end up all the way in the front, because you have a better strategy. You have better timing. You're patient. You do things well. You're very detailed, and you know where the hell you're going. Like, you have a plan. You know what I mean? Like, I was talking to somebody yesterday, right? And the person was telling me that they want to release a palette, and the color story is mostly green. But I'm like, why would you release a green palette, okay, in the summertime? It makes no sense. It's just like, oh, but Jeffrey does it and Morphe does it. I'm like, but you're not Jeffrey. You're not Morphe. You cannot compare yourself to people. You're not there. Like, Jeffrey has a cult following. Okay? Jeffrey has a cult. Like, it's like he could drop even, like, doodle colored eyeshadow. They will buy it because they're not buying the product. They're buying to support him. You know what I mean? I'm like, and when you talk about Morphe, you can't compare yourself to Morphe. Morphe has these influencers on lockdown. You don't. So, like, to me, I'm like, if you do a green palette, it makes more sense to, if it's going to be all green, it makes more sense to drop that in the fall. Because if you do green in the fall, whether it's green on black women, even white girls, redheads, right? When you take these redheads, green is such a beautiful color on redheads, especially in the fall with like a dark lip. I'm like, that's when it's going to hit. It's going to give what it's going to give. But nobody wants to wear green in the summertime. People like bright colors in the summertime because it's the summertime. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, and that's the thing. People always out here comparing. You're not the same. Stay in your lane. You know what I'm saying? Stay in your lane until one day you become a market leader. Like even Beyonce, there are many times in her career, Beyonce had to follow the trend because she was not influential enough to be a trendsetter, right? I love Nicki, but there are many times also where Nicki was not a trendsetter. She was a follower of trends. We saw many times Nicki trying to dress like Lady Gaga. We saw many times Nicki was biting off Lady Gaga because she didn't have her own style yet. Okay? But it's like Beyonce, when she finally becomes the Beyonce, now she's a trendsetter. So instead of her running to follow people, people now run to follow her. There was a time also where Rihanna was not a trendsetter. So she had to follow the trends. She had to look up to Mary J. She had to look up to Lil' Kim. She had to look up to other people who were where she was trying to be. But now that Rihanna is the trendsetter, people run to dress like her, whether it's Fenty by Savage, whether it's Fenty makeup, whatever. So when you're not a trendsetter yet, you have to follow the trends until you have worked hard enough and you've proved yourself hard enough that now you can now set the trend. But when you're not a trendsetter, you can just wake up and do whatever you want to do. It don't work like that. It sure don't. You know what I mean? Morphe is Linda and her brother. They're Lebanese. They know how to make money, these people too, huh? They don't have feelings, though. That's the thing about Arabs. Arabs have no feelings. You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing. But I'm like, Jeffree has a cult following. Jeffree can do a monochromatic palette. Like he's done just a blue palette. He has done like just a gray palette. He has done like just like a red palette. And people buy it. You do that, you might not get the same turnaround. And on top of that, another thing with Jeffree is Jeffree doesn't just sell the makeup. Jeffree will sit his ass on YouTube and show you how to wear his product, right? Jeffree go wear his makeup. Okay, he knows how to wear his makeup. He knows how to do his own makeup. He knows how to wear his stuff. Like Jeffree gonna sell his own white ass. Okay, you're not. You're gonna hide behind the scenes. So it's like you can't compare yourself to Jeffree, because Jeffree, he comes out with a product. He will stand by his product. He will do looks after looks after looks after looks after look. Like, well, damn. Like he believes in his stuff. And he gonna show you how to wear his stuff. You see what I'm saying? But a lot of people, but he does that. Yeah, but you're not gonna move like he's moving now. You're not. You're not. You see what I mean? Because you gotta be the one to sell your brand. You do. You can't be hiding behind influencers, whatever. No. Because first and foremost, you made the product. You know why you made the product, right? So why, if you don't talk about it, it's kind of suspicious. It's like, well, why don't you talk about your own product? You see what I'm saying? And so like that's a whole that's another thing right there too, right? So I'm like, you got to be mindful of certain things, right? So until you are the trendsetter, you have to follow the trends until you've worked so hard and you're that good that one day you are now the trendsetter. You know what I'm saying? But if you're not a trendsetter yet, you kind of have to be careful with the kind of stuff that you do out here in the streets, because you kind of want to kind of follow the customs until you are influential enough to change what is customary to people. Does that make sense? You know what I'm saying, you guys? So those are things that you want to think about, right? But what I want to say is like, I remember when one time I went to New York and the man was asking me like, how much money am I trying to raise? And I was like, well, I would like to raise like, anywhere. I think it was like 200 to like $500,000. And he was like, well, if that's the case, why don't you ask like a family and friends, right? And I remember like when he said that, I got so offended. That was the old me. I was like, I used to get offended all the time. But I got like super, super offended, right? But like 2020, I thought about it. I'm like, well, why did I get offended? So I was like, oh, if I could have that money, you think I'd be here right now? Because I was like, I thought he was trying to make fun of me. I was like, what the heck is this, right? But now I look at it like, but why did I not take that as a challenge? To be like, you know what? Why don't I try? But I took on getting offended as opposed to saying to myself, Marlene, why don't you try? Why don't you try? You know what I mean? But I had all these glass ceilings in my head, like, oh, it's not possible. It's not possible for someone like me. It's like, why is it not possible, right? Because it's like, does it have to happen right away? Like, let's say you want to raise 100,000, right? Does it need to happen in a week? Does it have to happen in like 6 months? What if it even happens in a year? Who cares? Right? And come to find out, last year, like, I was able to get it because my mindset changed, right? I'm like, oh, wow, that's crazy. But I'm still the same Marlene. It's the same thing. The only thing that changed was back then I thought it was impossible. In 2020, I said it's possible. That's it. That is it. Right? So it's like you can be like, oh, I need $50,000 for my business, right? And I'm here to tell you, you can get it. Now, are you going to get it in a day? Probably not. You're going to get it in like 6 months? Maybe not. But can you get it in a year? Yeah, you can. Because even $2,000, well, in a year is like what, 12 months, right? Well, even in 2 years, right? Let's say in 2 years, you could raise $50,000 in 2 years. Now, is it as fast as you want? Probably not. But can you get it? Yes, because 50 grand is like $2,000 a month. You know, you could raise 2 grand a month for the next 2 years, and you would have 50,000. Everything is about your mindset and the time, like how much time you give yourself. But it's like the more time you give yourself, the more things you can do. And it's like, oh, I did it. It's like, yeah, you did it. It's not that big. It's not that big of a deal. We have a tendency of making like money be more than what it really is. It really isn't that. It really isn't that serious. You know what I mean? And that's why, like, now I don't look at money the way I used to look at money. I'm like, okay, that's not that bad. It doesn't scare me anymore because I'm like, okay, you know, maybe in 6 months, a year, I can have that. And I'm like, cool. I don't stress myself like, oh, I gotta have this money by tomorrow. That might be very unrealistic. And then you're going to stress yourself out. Then you're going to start being sad. You're going to start like thinking about what you don't have and people who have. It does not put you in a very positive frame of mind. But if you say, okay, I give myself a year, I give myself 2 years to get it. It's like, okay, cool. Then you're not stressed because you know, like 2 years, it's going to come. Even if I do the very least effort, I'm going to get it. Does that make sense, you guys? If you want to join us, you can join the stream if you want to. If you have any questions, right? If you want to come on the stream, please do. If you want to say something, share a story, whatever, you know, because I'm doing this for y'all. Because these are things that I had to overcome myself. So you know what I mean. And I'm like, I've done more with this new mindset and being more patient and give myself more leeway than I did before. Like before it was a nightmare, like crash and burn, definitely, because you're trying to do too much too fast. Like pace yourself. Like it's okay to pace yourself. You know what I mean? It's okay to pace yourself. It is okay to go a little bit at a time. And now my new motto is slow and steady wins the race, right? And that's why even for this group that we're doing, like this little, like, because it's going to be like a micro fund, right? That's really what it's going to be. It's going to be like a really micro fund. Like it's going to be really small. Just so we can get to know each other and learn each other, like get to know each other, each other's first name, businesses, what you do, what you're into, right? And my hope is that this thing can actually grow, that we can help we can help each other out, like, you know, in a way that you couldn't even imagine. You know what I'm saying? So that's like, wow, like I didn't even know this was possible. Like, yeah, it's possible. Because like I'm saying, like $10 by yourself is not a lot, right? But 100 people with $10, that's a lot. Right? 100 people with $30, that's a lot. 100 people with $100, that's a lot. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, think about like Black Friday coming up, right? Think about Black Friday coming up. So let's say, what did I say? 100 people with $100, that's 10,000, right? Okay, cool. So let's say, I don't have a Facebook group. Well, I think we'll do it like either like an Instagram group or we'll see. Maybe we'll do a Facebook group, right? We'll see. You guys let me know. It's like, you know, it's whatever y'all want to do. But let's say we have like five amazing, five amazing businesses that we really believe in. And we want to help them for Black Friday. Like, okay, like, and they probably, let's say they all need like $10,000, right? Now you need to have a plan now. We're just going to give you money now, but they have a plan and they need to buy like inventory for Black Friday, because a lot of times you have to start buying your stuff during the summer, because by the time you buy your stuff, get it shipped to you, whether you do air freight or you do sea freight, like all that stuff, it takes time. So, and then you want to have it by October, you want to have it, Then you want to look at everything, make sure everything is good, start processing the stuff, taking the pictures, put it on the website. You guys, it takes time, guys. Life, I'm telling you, like things that seem so easy, they take a lot of time. But you might want to have everything by October or at least November 1st so that you're ready, right? We can help people like if you have 100 people and they're okay with $500, that's 5 businesses that could have $10,000. Now, when you make your money, right? When you make your money now from the 10,000, you got to bring the money back though. You know what I'm saying? So it's like people help you get your 10K, go buy your inventory. You know what I mean? But once you make money, your Black Friday, your money comes through, you come back to the group like, you guys, this is how much money I made. This is how much money I'm giving you guys on top of what you gave me. You know what I'm saying? So like everybody wins that way. You know what I mean? But a lot of times, like many Black-owned businesses, they can't do that because they don't have the cash flow. They don't have the cash flow to just take $10,000 and then like let it sit there for 3 months. They just can't, because as the money comes in the morning, you're already spending it. And that's the reality for many, many small Black-owned businesses, right? The money hits on Monday. As soon as the deposit hits, as soon as that deposit hits, the money's going right out. Y'all, can I be honest? Like I'm trying to be real honest here, right? You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times, a lot of Black ladies are behind. It's not because they don't want to be prepared. And that's why when people say things like, oh, that's why I don't shop with a Black business, they have poor customer service, they don't ship on time. It's not that they don't want to. They don't have the money to have stock. You know what I mean? So it causes these huge supply chain problems, like delays on the lack of money causes delay in shipping for the customer. Then the customer is mad. Then they do the dispute, and then like it's just, oh my gosh. But you see, if she had inventory ahead of time, as soon as you buy, she could ship the same day. Amazon can ship the same day because they got inventory, and it's not even their inventory; they got other people's inventory, right? So it's like, a lot of the time, while we can't ship on time, a lot of small businesses, Black businesses can't ship same day. Their inventory is just not there, right? They have to wait for your order to go by, right? And the group, and like this group I'm trying to create here is to like help people to be able to buy your inventory and sell it. Just tell us like, oh, this is when you're going to pay us back and how much you're going to pay us. You know, because you do have to pay us now, and free money. Because I do feel like people should have this habit of paying people back. Because when you know that you have to pay people back, it makes you work harder. And when you know that, you know what, this is the group that gave me a great opportunity, I don't mess it up, you're going to be even more excited to pay everybody back. And then people who gave you, they're also going to be super excited because you paid them back. Like, okay, that's really nice, right? Even if it's $10 and you can give back somebody $15. Now, are they going to go buy a Mercedes with that? No. But it's the principle. It's the principle. Like that's like, oh wow, you pay me back and then you put something on top of that. It's the principle. So the next time, if you want $30, they only got to give you 15 more. Don't do it. You know what I mean? It's the principle. And that's the thing. And that's why I'm like, the same way like the Jewish people built their own like system of lending, we have to find a way that is compatible for us as Black people and build our own system like of trust, right? And I'm like, and if we do it this way, it won't have to go against your credit. It won't have to hurt you. And even somebody too, like if somebody wants to buy a house, you know, we probably have people here, you know, who are trying to buy a house, but you don't have the deposit. But guess who has the deposit? We do. You know, because if you let's say you want to buy a house, but the deposit that you got to put it is $7,000, right? Well, guess what? If you have 100 people willing to give you, if you have 100 people and everybody trusts you and they give you $70, 70 times 100 is 7,000. You can go get the house. But once you got the house, though, just tell us how you're gonna pay us back. You know what I'm saying? Just tell how you're gonna pay us back. So you start to see like money that looks like that might look crazy or might look like debilitating. Oh my gosh, where am I gonna get this money from? Right? If you have a bunch of friends who are supportive with $10, you can make it happen. Or they support you with $20, you can make it happen. It's like, and then on the flip side of it too, right? For those who support you, it's money that if something was to happen, they can afford to lose. Okay, like I lost $10, like it's not the end of the world, right? It's not debilitating. But if it does work out, everybody wins in a positive way. So that's what the group is, because I really, really want to help people like during Black Friday. You know what I mean? I really do. Because, you know, I've been in that position too. Like, I really do. Because I'm like, a lot of people need to start getting ready for Black Friday now. Not just like inventory wise, but even marketing wise. So you might have inventory, but you might not be ready for your marketing. You know, because, you know, it's not enough. That's another thing I learned, y'all. This is another lesson I learned. It's not enough to have a great product. You need to have marketing to push the product. You know what I mean? You can have a great product, but if you don't have the money to push it, you know what I mean? If you don't have money to push it, you're not gonna make money. It could just sit there. You know, because if people don't know about it, if people don't know about it, if people haven't heard about it, if people haven't seen other people try it, it's not going to move, right? So you need money for production, but you also need money for marketing. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, so sometimes it's hard to have both. Like, you can either have money for marketing, then you don't have money for production, or you have money for production, but then you don't have money for marketing. It's like, oh gosh, you know, it could be like this really weird cycle that you're stuck in. You know, but, you know, so either we can help you with production or we can help you with marketing. I mean, whichever, you know, but it's going to be for many, many things. The most important part of the group, really, it's not even just a dollar amount. You don't always have to hire a marketing agency. It depends. Because if your budget for marketing is only $5,000, I don't think you should hire a marketing agency. Right? Like me, Marlene, if, like, let's say we're in the group and somebody you want $5,000 for marketing, my honest recommendation would be for you to start marketing it yourself. Like, I would rather you invest like $5,000, like, on buying your camera, your microphone, your lights, you know what I mean? And start a YouTube channel, and then you start marketing it, because that's an investment that won't go away. If you take $5,000 and you want to pay an influencer to promote, there's a chance you might not get that money back. Okay? Because not all influencer marketing is worth it. Some influencers don't know how to sell. So not every influencer has influence. So be very careful. People can have huge channels and can't even sell one lipstick. Okay? So not every influencer is influential. You know what I mean? Not every influencer has that trust from their audience. You have a lot of influencers who their people don't trust them. They watch their stories though, but they ain't gonna buy nothing they recommend though. But they like watching them though, but they're not gonna buy. You know what I mean? So it's like, but if you spend $5,000 on buying your own equipment to record your own content, right? You might not make the money back right away, but at least, you know what I mean? But at least, right? At least, what is it called? At least you own the equipment. So, okay, maybe not this video, but, you know, you can take the video to do YouTube. You can take the video to take pictures for the website. You can do the videos for IGTV. You can use it for, you know, Instagram, whatever. But that camera that you buy with the $5,000, you can do so much for your business, right? But if you take the $5,000 and you give it to an influencer or a group of influencers and the money don't come back, not only are you out of money, but you don't even have equipment, right? And that's the thing I would recommend to everybody. If you have $2,000 to $5,000 to spend from $1,000, if you have anywhere from $1,000 to $5,000 to spend on influencer marketing, baby, I strongly recommend that you buy your own equipment. Buy your own equipment. Buy an iMac. That's $1,000, right? Maybe you buy the Canon 9D, the 90 is the last model with the lens. That might be like $1,500. So now we're like, what, $2,500 with the tax stuff. Buy a really nice microphone. With the microphone, you can do your YouTube videos. You can do your Instagram videos, and also you can do a podcast. So I would invest in a great microphone, right? So we might be like $2,800. Then you might want to get a really good tripod. A good tripod might be like $200. So we already spent $3,000. Then what else do you need? You need your lights. That might be like another like $300, right? Then you might get like some nice furniture from IKEA. You might want to get like some nice stuff from like some candles and decoration from like TJ, like Marshalls, TJ Maxx, whatever. You know, like make the place look really nice. Get you some new outfits. Get your nail done. Get your hair done. You know, get you a nice weave because people like that stuff. You know, get your hair done. Hair is very powerful. Beautiful hair will bring views. I kid you not. Ladies love beautiful hair. Get your hair done. Like, invest in a nice quality wig or spend money with a great hairstylist. Get your, like, look like success, right? You know, so now the money's spent, you know, and then you also need like your memory card. You need a hard drive, an external hard drive. You know what I mean? Like, I'd rather use, like, that's my personal advice, right? Because I say be your own effing influencer first. You know what I mean? Like, you got to be that girl. You know what I'm saying? Because when people know that you can sell your own stuff, no one's going to try you. You know what I'm saying? But that's the thing, Lacey, right? So let's say you have $2,000, Lacey, even doing Facebook ads. Facebook ads also can ruin you. Like, I used to spend like $13,000 a week on Facebook ads. Y'all, listen, Marlene, you guys, like, I think in the group also, I'll show you like my money stuff, because that's really, really important. Facebook ads can run you dry. Because sometimes, like, cause there'll be like a day we can do like $700, but I would spend $700 on Instagram, Facebook ads, but I would make exactly 700. I mean, this don't make no sense. It was just weird. Like, I felt like I was never coming on top of that, right? But I'm gonna tell you one thing I would rather do. You know what I mean? Yeah. My thing I would rather do, Lacey, is like, you're a beautiful girl too. I would rather, like, you, Lacey, you take that money and stop being afraid. Talk to people. You know what I mean? Like, sit down and be like, if you got 2,000, Lacey, buy your camera. Buy the camera, buy the microphone, get you some lights. Start there. Get comfortable. Because as a businesswoman or a businessman, you have to get comfortable talking to people. Like, you do. Like, because no one can explain your product better than you. Nobody can tell people why you did this better than you. No one. No, and you're very beautiful. And I'm telling you, when you're a beautiful woman, that's already a plus. Listen to me. Like, that's like marketing 101. If you're already pretty, people are going to buy from you just because you're pretty. Like, oh my gosh, you're so pretty. And then they're just like, okay, I'll buy it. You're like, what the heck? It was that easy. Yes, it's that easy. Like, people are naturally attracted to pretty people. You know what I'm saying? So when you see all these influencers living it up, they're not better than you. They were just crazy enough to talk to themselves in the room all by themselves. That's it. You know what I'm saying? That's it. Even some of like the best influencers today, when you go back to their old videos, it was ratchet. It was dark. It was gloomy. It was like, oh my gosh, what is this, right? But it's like, you keep doing stuff, you get better. You keep doing something, you get better. You keep doing something, you make money, and then your production starts to level up. But it's like YouTube is not a God-given gift. Okay, you don't have to go to Harvard to be a YouTuber. You don't have to go to Princeton. Anybody can use social media to level up. You might be unknown today, but 2 years from now, you're going to be on everybody's lips. So don't ever get in your head like, the same way she's a woman and she winning on social media, that can be you too. She's just crazy enough to talk to herself in the room with the cameras on. That's it. Like, that's the only thing with YouTube. Like, you have to be crazy enough to be in the room, put a camera on, and talk to yourself when there's nobody there and pretend that there are people there. That's it. That's it. But I'm like, if you have anywhere from 2K to 3K, that's a camera and an iMac. Or even worst case, you can get the iMac first, right? Because if you get an iMac right now, you'll have a better camera than I do, right? So you can just go live. You can go live every day, you guys. I'm like dead ass. You know what I'm saying? You could go live every day. And at first, you might get like 2 views, 10 views, 20 views. Don't worry about it. You know, one thing I'm going to tell you too, when you have a business, stop looking for instant gratification. Your job is to be consistent. Don't worry about the views. Don't worry about the comments. Those things will come. Don't trust me, they will come. If you post enough on YouTube, this algorithm will eventually favor you. Your first videos, nobody's going to watch them. It's okay. Like, when I did YouTube, nobody's watching my videos. I was like, what the heck? You know what I mean? Nobody did. But eventually, people did. Like, eventually, people will. But if you want, you can go live every day. You know? Put some makeup on, sit there, and just talk to yourself. But you'll see, like, little by little, it's going to grow. It's going to grow. It's going to grow. And that's one thing I will take from Kevin Samuels, right? He started YouTube, like, almost in his 50s. You know? And after 5 years, it took off for him. So it goes to show you, like, with YouTube, with social media, anybody can make it. Like, there is a group, like, there's a family, there's a village for anybody. So don't ever be afraid to do it. Like, oh, I gotta hide. You ain't gotta hide nothing. You know what I'm saying? And then you might actually like it. Like, you know what? I actually like doing this. I actually like talking to a bunch of random people on the internet. Yeah. So it's like, don't be afraid and tell people like why you did it. Like, oh, I'm Lacey. This is why I started my company. This is why it means to me. Like that might, even that alone, it might resonate with people. Like, oh, you know what? I like Lacey. Let me just go buy something from her today. Oh, I want to support. Let me go buy something from her today. Well, I'm telling you, like, people are like, when you're selling, when you have a product, when you have a business, you're not selling to animals. You're not selling to trees. You're selling to other human beings. They have feelings just like you, right? They have a mom just like you. They have children just like you. They have a pet just like these. You're selling to people. And people relate to people who have stories. Like, so if you tell people your story, like, oh, wow, we have the same story. I want to support her. Oh, wow, I'm so proud of her. I want to support her. Look, I'm telling you, they're people. They're people. And the more you make it personable, the more you like, you know, they know you. Like, oh, wow, that's my girl. I got you, sis. I got you. You know what I mean? I have people, oh, Martin, I can't get the pallet now, but I'll get it next week. And they actually do. And it goes to show you, like, people are really nice like that. And that's why you can't be afraid to build your own tribe, because you don't even know how many beautiful people are out there who are, God has already put love for you in their heart. They just need you to show up. You'll be surprised. Like, you know, and I look back at my like depression days, and I look back like how upset I was and everything like that. And God, but I'm like, yo, I just had a horrible mindset. You know, it was all my fault. It wasn't God. I didn't have the right mindset. But today I'm like, wow, you'll be surprised how many people are already preordained to help you. You'll be surprised like how many people God has already placed in the cut somewhere. They're just waiting on you, and then they'll just show up out of nowhere and save you. You know what I'm saying? So Jay also added questions. Oh, will there be contract for members in the groups that were done with money? I mean, there's gonna be an agreement. You know what I'm saying? There's gonna be an agreement, but like anything else, you have to understand that you can lose money though. So that's something that you have to be very sober. Be very sober-minded about that, right? That you can definitely lose money. But that's why we're not doing too much per person. Like what, $30 is from 30 to 100. Give what you're comfortable losing, right? But we're gonna have different offices too, right? Like Jenny, where's Jenny? Jenny's here somewhere. Jenny's gonna be in charge of like all the contract stuff. That's gonna be Jenny. That's gonna be like her office. We'll have another office that's gonna take care of like all the money stuff and let people know like every time how much they've made, how much you're making per like stuff that you're doing, so that you'll know that. We'll have like statements. If we don't do it monthly, we'll do it like every 3 months, you know. But and that's the thing, and that's what the thing is like first and foremost. It's like it's the trust factor thing. That's the thing that's really big, because once people trust each other, and it's a big group that trusts each other, then bigger things can happen from that. So there's going to be an agreement, and it's going to explain everything so that everybody knows exactly what they're getting themselves into. So yeah, most definitely, you know. So that's that. So like, don't like, you know, because I remember I was like, oh, I can't wait for this person to wear my product, or I can't wait for this person to review my stuff. And it's like, but I've made it without any of those people ever reviewing my shit. So it's like, you realize that you don't need people to do nothing for you. You can do it for yourself. You just have to be comfortable with being shameless. And that's really what it is. Like, you have to be shameless, you know? And that's why, like, with the palette, I was like, no. And I gave myself like a challenge, like, Marlene, you have to do your makeup. Like, you have to do your makeup. You have to wear the products. You have to show it to people. And I tell you, every time, hey, advocate, what's up? Right? You know what I mean? How you doing? Happy Saturday. And every time I show up with the makeup, I sell the palette. I kid you not. And it's like, it's not even like I'm like doing makeup tutorials. Just them seeing it on me, they go and they buy it, you know? So it really goes to show you, like, I kid you not. Let's say we like in the group thing, say, oh, you want money for like promo. I would say it better be for you, because you need to invest in yourself first. You go have a photo shoot. You know what I mean? Instead of trying to pay for influencers to have a photo shoot with your product, you go have a photo shoot with your product. And it's going to make you feel so good. Like, oh, wow, damn, that's me. Yeah, that's you. Oh, damn. You know what I mean? And then when people see you like that, like, wow. Like, look at Keisha Cure. Huh? Look at Keisha. Okay, for as greedy as I think she is, right? But, like, Keisha makes makeup. But you never see Keisha send her stuff out to influencers. You don't see Keisha like, oh, I'm going to book these girls to wear my stuff and and pay them. No, Keisha will wear her own damn stuff. And she's always been that way. You know, even when like back in the day when she had the lipsticks, the color lipstick, and she had the glitter on the lipstick stuff, like she was the one wearing the stuff. You know what I mean? She would go to the hair shows. She was the one wearing her stuff. Keisha always wore her own stuff. You know what I mean? Because Keisha going to wear it first. That's it. Even like the Kiora fitness thing, you know, it started off with her just wearing the stuff. And then she got more people. Now she will post like her customers, right? But she'll post her customers before she posts influencers. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing. Prima donna and her cookware, right? She's always cooking. She's always cooking. Like, she's always cooking. So when she started with her own cookware line, people believed in it because she's always, and then plus she thinks, so we know she likes food, but she's always cooking, right? So like now when she has prima donna cookware, it makes sense because she's always cooking. And the same thing with Janice also. She loves to cook, and it seems like she's a great cooker. She's always cooking too, right? So when she comes out with Kitchen Envy, right, or the knives, the cookware, people believe it. Why? Because the girls are always cooking. And they make so much money. They don't have to wait for someone to promote, shout them. This is too complicated. They just cook. And that's the thing with social media. It's free. Like a YouTube channel, it's free. Instagram, free. Facebook, free. Snapchat, free. Why are you afraid to look stupid? Why are you afraid? What if it actually does work? I mean, the first videos might be like a little crazy, but what if it actually does work? You know what I'm saying? What if it actually takes off? Like, you just never know. And why not? You don't need the entire internet to support you. But even if you only have 100 people who buy from you every month, and those 100 people give you $100, you've made 10,000. That's a lot. That's a lot of money. For anybody, I mean, any regular person out here, for any regular person in these streets, right? 10 grand is a lot of money. You know what I mean? If every month you can get 100 customers to give you $100, you've made it. You can live well with that, right? I'm sure y'all would agree, right? You would live well with that. Okay, what if now you only have 50 customers who give you $100? That's 5,000. That's pretty good. Most people don't even make that. You know what I mean? Most people don't even make that. So it's like, you know, you could do that. Stephanie said, right? Things don't come from your comfort zone. Coming out of your comfort zone is tough in the beginning, but always awesome in the end. You know what I mean? Homeless says hi to y'all. You know, but it's the truth though, right? Like, you know, but I'm like, that can be you too. So you're not on YouTube to watch other people succeed all the time. You're not on YouTube to watch other people have clothing hauls. No, there comes a time when you're like, you know what? Maybe God is trying to tell me something. Because this don't make no sense. You know what I mean? It's good to be a cheerleader of other people, but there comes a time you got to be a cheerleader of yourself. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people too, you're at home. Maybe you're not working right now. Maybe you're not making enough money right now. Okay, can you learn to make wigs? You know what I mean? Can you learn to make wigs? Like, can you buy a mannequin head? Can you buy the tripod? Can you buy some needles? And you don't have to buy expensive hair. Maybe you buy some cheap hair from Sally's just to practice your stitching, right? Practicing your stitching, and then like once you get better, then maybe start making one wig. Then make a second wig, then a third wig, right? Does that make sense? But I'm like, there's a lot of money to be made in wigs. So when I see people like, oh, I don't have this kind of money, I can't afford it. I'm like, this don't make no sense. All these people looking for wigs. Why aren't you learning how to make wigs? You know what I mean? Or maybe you can learn photography. You know, you can buy a camera and learn photography, and you can, like, that could be something that you do on the weekends. Like you take people's pictures on the weekend. You might make $50, $100, but I'm like, that's money you were making before. And if you book enough people, you can really start a business as a photographer. You know what I mean? Like you start to see like, wow, like I'm like, just like Kanye said, like, you know, being broke sometimes or struggling financially, it's a choice. It's a choice because you want to be in your comfort zone and you're not trying to learn something new. You're not trying to embarrass yourself. You don't want to shame yourself. It's like, okay, but where is that going to get us though? You've been doing this all this while and we're still here. So at this point, maybe we should be shameless, right? Maybe we should speak out loud. Maybe we should say things like the lady, the other girl, what's her name? Arlan Hamilton. You know, she has a fund. It's called Backstage Capital. What is that? It said my biggest fear is starting my own brand. It's like two-faced people, like, and there's so many of them in California. Seeing how Mark Zuckerberg cut off Eduardo out of Facebook and played it in his face as his friend. It was like a snake behind his back. Yeah, but that's why people also have contracts, right? And that's the thing you guys have to realize, right? Like, it's one thing to say, okay, I'm afraid. But if being afraid is not enough to not do a thing, right? So you're afraid. Cool. Now, how can we like limit your risk? You have contracts, right? You have agreements, you have NDAs, there's so much paperwork out there to help you with whatever you're afraid. But being afraid is not a reason. I'm sure people are afraid to go up in the air, but now we don't just have airplanes, we have helicopters, we have spaceships, right? So your fear is not enough. If people only did things based on being afraid, we probably would not even have electricity, because electricity can also kill you, right? You wouldn't drive cars because you can drive from a car accident. You know what I mean? Like, it never stops. Like, being afraid never stops, y'all. It never stops. But if you realize every day you take a risk, we've all gotten on a plane, didn't even know the pilot. We get on these planes because we see Delta Air, we see Delta, we see United, we see Virgin, but we don't know them people. We don't know those people. We don't have a single family member that's doing like the checkup to see if the tires is okay. Is there enough fuel? Is the engine okay? Are the wings okay? We don't know none of these people. We don't even know the pilot. You'll be on a plane, the entire plane ride. You have not seen the pilot. Don't know his name. Don't know where he went to school. You don't even know if he's drunk. You don't even know if he has marital issues. You don't know who the F he is. But as soon as you see that Delta logo, United logo, American, you trust. But why you trust a bunch of random people with your life? And you can't even trust yourself to do this business the right way. Make it make sense, right? And that's the problem. Like, we've been trusted to trust other people with our future. We've been conditioned to trust other people. We've been conditioned to believe in other people more than we believe in ourselves. We have been conditioned to cheer for other people and not believe that this can be our lives too. And that's the problem here. And that's what I'm trying to change. Like, that's what I'm trying to like change with the group thing. Like, that we would that we can actually look at things like from a different mindset and believe like, yo, I can do this too. Now, I can't tell you what happened in a week or 6 months, right? You know what I'm saying? But it's like, it can happen because you've taken many risks with your life before. You get on the highway. You don't even know if there's a murderer, a crazy person. You get on the car and you hope that you're going to make it at home. You hope you're going to make it safe. You get your car insurance. Okay, in case something happens, I have car insurance, right? But is car insurance really enough? But guess what? It's enough to give you confidence to drive on the road with people, with strangers. Every day we get on the road, we're really on the road with a bunch of crazy strangers. We don't know these people. But that's not going to stop you from driving, because you have to drive. You have places to go. And that's the same thing when it comes to business, right? We recognize that there are effed up people, but that's not enough to not do it. You will encounter fake people. Everywhere there's money, there's crazy people. That's it. Money just has that kind of energy that it attracts this very, very interesting personalities. Like, I don't know what else to tell you. But that's why you come up with ways to limit how much exposure you have to risk or to self-harm. Like, for us, I was like, okay, like anywhere from like 30 to 100, right? That's enough. Like, in case somebody is crazy, it's not gonna be that much money. Okay, like I lost $30. It's not that bad, right? As opposed to 20,000. Okay, now that's crazy. But people can afford to lose $30. And the thing is, and if you end up doing something bad, like, okay, well, you lost access to 100 people, so now you're on your own, right? But I'm sure most people are not gonna do that, because like, you gain more by doing the right thing. And that's usually how people behave. When people are in a group and they gain more by doing the right thing, people are more likely to do even more than just more, because they want to stay in the group. Because it's very beneficial. But like, that should not be enough reason why you don't do what you're supposed to do. You have to get things done. I'm afraid. Why are you afraid? Because of this. Okay, what's the solution that I can find to mitigate my exposure to this, that? And then you get to it. You know what I'm saying? You get to it. And then you'll see like, oh, it's not that bad. You know what I mean? Because we can all be afraid, but it's like, then you'll never do anything. You know what I mean? You would never get anything done. So you guys can let me know, like, if we were to do it tomorrow. I was thinking like maybe tomorrow night, because some people go to church in the morning. But we can do it tomorrow afternoon, or we can do it tomorrow evening if you want to. Do the Zoom meeting. Let me know like what'd you say, Sarby?
The evening would be a great time for me personally.
Yeah. So if you're asking like right now, like what would be a good time for you, then I can create the Zoom meeting thing. I can have the Zoom meeting link created for you guys because I'm Central Time.
In that Zoom meeting, can we talk about because it's not going to be on YouTube, right? So we can actually get into some real topics and have a real discussion.
Yes.
Okay, I like that.
Yes.
And actually really discuss things that need to be discussed.
Yes. And what
I know we do it here, but I'm saying without, having a
this is like for everybody. Yeah. Because one thing I would also like, I would like for people who join the group to really, work on their vision for themselves. You know what I mean? Like, what would you like to achieve, especially in 2021? But like, even like in the next 5 years, like, where do you see yourself? You know what I mean? Because that's really important. Because if you don't use social media the right way, time can just fly by, and it's like, what have I done? But if you already, but we might do another one, Kevin. Don't worry, we might do the second one. Maybe like during the week we can do another one. But if you know what you want to do, if you know what you're out here for, then you will be way more intentional with how you use social media. Because social media can turn into a dark hole also. Like it just like, it just sucks you into like a loop of entertainment that just never stops. And you never actually get to work on something meaningful. So I think like that's something that's like really important because like how now you consume content, you've been on social media, but like now how exactly do you want to use social media to help you level up? That not social media is actually going to work for you. You know what I mean? Like I'll give you a good example.
Of people that sit on media all day and are not making a difference.
You're not making a difference, but everybody else that you're watching, they're making money off of your view. You see? So like for as much as it seems like they're giving you entertainment, they're actually working because they're going to make money off of this. Right. And then they're building their tribe off of that. And then they're building their Patreon. Then they're starting their Clubhouse. Then they're starting their Discord. Then they're starting this and they're starting that. I mean, and I might also do a Discord for the group, right? You know what I'm saying? But it's like you're just sitting there watching. You're just consuming all this content and just like entertainment. But when the day is gone, what have you done? Then when the week is over, what have you done? When the month is over, how much progress have you made? So that's what you want to think about. That's what you want to think about. Like, are you even watching the right people on YouTube also?
Exactly.
That's also what you want to think about. Like when I think of like Kevin Samuels, for example, like he'll have like 14,000 people on the live. They'll give him all this money. So he ends the live. He's making like $5,000, $6,000, right? But the majority of those people, they're going to wake up to the same job and the same income. So it's like he's the only one that wins in that relationship. He provides you with crazy entertainment. You give him all this money, and he's done. Like so, if he does that every week, he's making like 20,000 a week just off of Super Chat. But like here, you wake up the next day. Yeah, he probably had great talking points. Yeah, he hyped you up, but you gonna wake up to the same job, the same life, and the same income. So in that situation, it's like there's only one person that's really winning. Because to me, honestly, like if it doesn't help you to make more money, I don't think you should spend too much time in it. Because 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, like them things they add up. So it's like if it's not helping you to get to another level, like I don't think you should spend that much time in it. Because I'm like, what's the point of all this stuff? You know what I mean? So this also happens if you don't have a vision for yourself, like if you don't know what you're trying to do, if you don't have any plans for yourself, if you don't have any ideas for yourself, then you'll just be consuming content here, there, and it never stops, right? But it's like if you could achieve something, if you could do like 5 things by the end of the year for 2021, what exactly would those things be? What would you want to have done by 2021? Right. And then also it's like, what is your plan? Where would you like to be in 2022? Like, what do you see for yourself in 2022? Whether it's like your business, your personal life, your health, your relationships with other people, your networking abilities with other people, like where do you see what would you like to have from 2022? Because it's in 2021 that you plan for 2022. And many times people wait until December, especially December 31st, or even all the way to like January 1st, the 1st, the 2nd, the 3rd, the 4th, to start planning the new year. But in all honesty, you should have planned the new year last year. Does that make sense? Like, it's like 2021 is when you start planning what your 2022 is going to look like. Like, especially, like, let's say if you have a clothing line, let's say you have like an online store, like an online boutique, whatever, you want to start thinking about your clothes like for 2022, like, because there are even companies, if you pay them, some give for free, but you have companies who like have reports, like every year they come out with the report for next year, like, okay, like these are going to be the colors for next year, these are going to be the hues for the next year, right? And so a lot of companies who have money, they'll buy those things, right? And they'll start planning their collections according to the prediction for the following year. So they don't wait for 2022 to come around to start planning their spring collection. They plan spring 2022 in probably like spring 2021. Makes sense? So I don't know what your business is, but you might be okay. Like, you might want to start thinking about we're summer, okay, almost summer, right? So summer 21, you start planning summer 22. So what would you like to do in summer 22? You start doing that now, because then you got to plan, then you got to make samples, then you have to find like your money, you got to start paying for things, and you have to have things shipped to you. And you realize like, wow, a year can truly go by like this before you know it. Am I making sense, you guys? So that's one thing I would recommend, is like that you try to plan like a year in advance. Like, this is what I want to do in 2022. And you start planning that now. So by the time you get to 2022, you already know what you're supposed to do, as opposed to like, just like when you wake up, I feel like before you go to sleep at night, you should have a to-do list for the next day, so that when you wake up, you're mentally prepared for what you have to do for the day. So you're not just like wasting time and like just doing a bunch of random stuff that mean nothing. You know what I mean? And one thing I like to use for that too, if you haven't heard of it, it's Asana. Some people use Monday.com, but I like Asana. You might want to check it out, because it's a great way to like plan the things that you have to do. I really like it. And there are many tutorials on YouTube about Asana. Like, I use it all the time because I work with so many people. There's no way I could. It helps you with your tasks. You can do to-do lists, task lists, but it also helps you a lot with project management. And you can break down like everything that you have to do for a specific project, right? So like, let's say if you're releasing a product, you might want to work with a photographer for like product shots, and you might want to work with models, and you might want to worry about the hair and the clothing. So you can break all that down and then like what you have to do under each one. But like I said, there are many tutorials on YouTube if you want to check those out. But I like Asana. There's the computer version and there's the app version. I would say download both. If you have a Gmail address, I recommend you sign up with Asana using your Gmail. That way you can sync your calendars. Like, it's really awesome. I really like it. I even have a class on that. I have a time management course. But yeah, it's really good. But I'm like, all that stuff, like time management, when you have your own business and you have other things like family, children, etc., it's really, 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 really important. It's very, very important, because the better you manage your time and the more you know what else you have to do in the coming months, in the coming weeks, the coming months, the coming year, you'll find that you're more strategic, you're less stressed out, you're better organized, and then things are a bit more seamless. Like, that's what I would say. I hope that makes sense. Am I making sense, you guys? So let me know. But I think we should like tomorrow evening. So maybe, do you guys want to do like 6 p.m. Eastern time or like 7 p.m. Eastern time? We can do 6 or 7. It works for me. Because if we do 6 p.m. Eastern time, that's like 5 p.m. Central. Or we do 7 p.m. We can do 8 also. So we got 6, 7, or 8. You can let me know which time works best for you. But I'm excited, you guys. I'm excited. And then I get to see your faces. Because some of y'all, I've never seen you in person. It's always your like little thumbnail picture thingy, But let me know. So we could do like either 6, we could do 5, 6, or 6, 7, or 8. It's up to you. Then I can come live real quick and then give you the link. And we can meet there. But yeah, anybody have any questions? Anybody wants to jump on, call in, have a testimony, share something. And I will try to do like more business tips like on YouTube, if you guys like if you like these kinds of videos. Because you really truly want to pace yourself. Like that's the best thing I could say to anybody that has like that has their own business. Like, pace yourself. I know like social media can make it seem like, you should make $1 million in 2 minutes, but that's not realistic for most people. That doesn't happen for most people. And honestly, whether it happens or not doesn't mean that you're going to be successful or not going to be successful. The most important thing is to really pace yourself. Like, you have to pace yourself, and you want to pace yourself, because the more you pace yourself, the more you'll be successful in the long run, right? There's no point in like being successful today, like being an overnight success, and then you just disappear. Like, it's a lot better, even if it takes time, but it's better to grow slowly and to grow surely. But as you grow, you just keep growing, and you don't, like, it doesn't stop. Like, that's really, really what you want. And I mean, that's definitely what I want for you also. Everybody's so quiet. Are you guys okay? Are you here? Because you all got quiet. Am I still streaming? But yeah, because I could do that. Even here, I'll try to, like, because I have a lot of friends here who have like businesses.
I'm still here.
Oh, you're here, yeah. Because I want to do that. I would like to do a series where I bring like business, like small business owners, like especially Black-owned business owners, on the channel, and they can tell you their story and how they started, what they had to go through, so you can see that like you're not the only one that's going through whatever you're feeling right now with your business, whatever you're going through right now with your business, from high to low, from low to high, from happy to not happy, from I know what I want to do to I'm confused about what I want to do, like all those things. Trust me, you're not alone. These are very, very normal feelings to have. Okay. So don't feel like I'm not where I'm supposed to be. Honestly, I don't think anybody that's starting a business or building a business ever feels like they are exactly where they're supposed to be. Everybody always feel like they could make more money. Everybody always feels like, they could have more money. They could, everybody always wants more, wants to do more, wants to have more. So don't feel bad. Like, don't, it's normal. Like, it's growing pains. Like, as they say, like, it's growing pains. And most businesses, especially if you're under 10 years old, you will have a lot of growing pains. You're going to have lots of growing pains, but I just want you to know, like, it's normal. Like, how you feel is normal. It doesn't mean that you should give up. It doesn't mean that you are not that smart, etc. Especially if you're the first one in your family, if you're the first to ever start a business, if it's your first business, you also got to be merciful on yourself, because, you've never done this before. You know what I mean? You've never done this before, so you're going to make mistakes. You've never done it before. And that's the whole point that's why you have to keep going, because the more you keep going, all these mistakes that you've made in the past will actually help you so much, because they'll make you so much better. But sometimes the best way to learn in life is to make mistakes, and it's not fun. Like, it really isn't, because we want to win more than we actually lose, but sometimes you have to go through that. But the reality is, it's perfectly normal. Like, there's nothing wrong with you. You're not like, oh, you're so dumb, you don't belong here. This is not the right business for you, blah, blah, blah. A lot of time, the business that is meant for you is going to whoop your ass. Okay? A lot of times, like, the things that you want to do is just going to knock you down. But then you got to get back up, and then you'll be better, you'll be stronger, you'll be smarter. You're going to do so much more. You're going to be so much more, because a lot of people, the business that they have now that is successful, it definitely was not their first business. It definitely wasn't. They failed before somewhere, right? And that's why now they're so good. So a lot of time when you see people who are even successful, you might be looking at business number 5, business number 6, business number 8. I don't know, right? So unless you sit down with someone and you know their exact story, I wouldn't compare myself to no one. I would just be grateful to God that I'm even here, and be grateful that that you even have the opportunity to make mistakes. Be grateful that you have the opportunity to learn. Be grateful that there's always tomorrow. Be grateful that there's always more and more customers out there. To be grateful overall. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I would do. You know, like, just be grateful. Like, be grateful, you know, in all the ways possible. Like, be grateful. And here is the email address also. So if you want the link to, please email me. It's lenateacheswealth@gmail.com. If you email me there, I'll get you the link to the Zoom. I'll probably do that tonight. But it's lenateacheswealth@gmail.com. Email me at that address. If you don't mind, you can email me now so I know I have it. And once I get your email, I'll email you back. Or you can send me a DM. Okay. So, yeah. So email me. It's lenateacheswealth@gmail.com. Okay. You email me there, and that way I can make sure to send you the link so you can have the link so I know who wants to come in. You know, and if you have any questions too, like, get your questions ready for tomorrow. You know, and also, if you don't mind, get ready to introduce yourself also tomorrow. Let people know who you are, you know, where you're from, what you do, where they can find you. Why did you start your business? You know, what you're looking to do, et cetera, et cetera. Like, you know, or like if you go to school, whatever. But get ready to introduce yourself, because that's something that you're going to have to learn, which is to talk about yourself, which is really weird at first. But after a while, it's like, whatever. That's what you have to do. You know, because a lot of people too, like, if you have to go for a pitch, or if you work with like consultants who help you to pitch, you know, people want you to practice your pitch a lot, like what you're going to say, you know, like, you know, talk about your business like in less than like a minute, or talk about your business like 3 minutes. So the more you practice, the better position you'll be in. Amen. That's really good. And then I also want to talk about like the SBA stuff, like, which is the Small Business Administration. You know, I'll make sure we have stuff about that too, because if you know about the stuff ahead of time, you can plan accordingly. Especially now with like the whole COVID situation, it's a lot easier for people to get SBA loans also. So those are things that you want to know so that you can be ready for that when the time comes. Yeah, I don't know what else am I missing. Anybody else any question for me? Anything you want to ask me? But yeah, please email me there. lenateacheswealth@gmail.com. Oh, where's Patricia? She didn't come in today. You know, but I will be back also tomorrow morning. Do the same thing again to get people to come out at night. But then we'll do it at night, like around like 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. Eastern time. No, you don't have to have business. Ready to Jay. Anybody can come. Anybody can come. And that's a good thing, like, right? Like, it's like the sooner you join the group, the sooner people get to know you. So that by the time it's you want to do something, people know who you are, right? So, oh, you were in the cut, Patricia? I was like, oh, you've been so quiet today. I'm like, where is Patricia? Is she here? No, you don't have to have a business. But if you're passionate about, like, you know, community building, if you're passionate about like wealth building, if you want to get to know more people, if you want to build your network, you know, if you want to help other people also like attain their goal, you know, if you want to support people, you know, if you want to learn to also like be like a small investor, like all this stuff, you know, if those things are interesting to you, if you're passionate about that, yeah, you should join. Because it's just an info session also on the Zoom. It's just to get to know people. People can ask me more questions. Yeah, you know, it's like that's really what it's for, like, you know, so that you get to know more people, because that's something that you're going to have to do, whether when you graduate. If people are in college also, to all my college students, you know, you're going to have to get to know more people to get a job when you graduate. You can't just like submit an application or submit 100 applications and hope they call you back. You got to go find people on LinkedIn. Okay, you have to try to get to know people on LinkedIn, see if you can grab coffee with them, you know, because a lot of my followers too are super, super shy. You need to overcome that. Don't be like Patricia. Like, don't be like super, super shy in the cut somewhere, right? You truly need to overcome that, you know, because a lot of people who get jobs, it's not just that they have the requirements or they have the resume. They know someone at the office, like at that business, they know someone. You know what I mean? And that's the world of business. Like, whether you work for yourself or you work for someone, or you're looking to get hired by someone, you know, networking it's a life skill. It really is a life skill, whether you want to go to grad school or not, whether you want to work for someone or not, whether you want to start your own business or not, whether you want to even sell to your customers. Like you truly have to, like being shy will get you killed. Like, you really have to overcome that. So the more comfortable you get at talking to people, a whole bunch of people, talking to strangers, after a while, it's like, whatever, I'm so used to this. Like, it does nothing to me. It does nothing to me. And that's how you want to be. You know what I mean? Because I'm telling you, a lot of the greatest business people are great salesmen. Like you look at the guy who started McDonald's. Well, he didn't start McDonald's, but the guy who turned McDonald's, what's his name? I forgot his name. The guy who turned McDonald's to a franchise, he was a great salesman. He definitely knew how to talk, because they had a great product, but they didn't know how to sell themselves, right? Ray Kroc, is that his name? But when you look at Ray Kroc, for example, like he's a great salesman. And you realize that like great business people have to be great salesperson. Like you have to know how to sell yourself. It is true. Because if you have a great product, but you're always shy, you're going to have to give it to somebody else to sell it for you. And that's when you might get played. You know what I'm saying? So you don't just want to be an inventor. You also want to learn to become a salesperson. Right. So it's like you have to learn how to sell yourself. Like the people who get the McDonald's brothers, they knew how to make great burgers and milkshakes, but they didn't know how to sell themselves. Right. Even I forgot his name. Oh my gosh. Oh, he's a very famous white man from Atlanta. He bought the recipe of Coca-Cola, because Coca-Cola was made by a chemist, but he didn't know how to sell himself. He thought, I just need some money. So he sold it to the man. He's I forgot his name. But even like the land of the airport in Atlanta, that's his land. He was a Christian also, like a very faithful man, paid his tithes all the time. So he bought the recipe from the chemist, right? And look what Coca-Cola is today, right? So you don't want to be just a great inventor, but you also want to be a great salesperson. You want to learn to sell yourself. And at first you're going to make a lot of mistakes. You're going to say like, you're going to be very awkward. You're going to be very uncomfortable. All these weird things will happen, right? But eventually you will get to a place where you become a great salesperson. And that's what you want. You want to, like, you have to learn. Look at this. Humidity is like bringing my hair down. I cannot stand New Orleans sometimes, right? But it's like you really want to get to a place where you also like, I know how to make good products, but I also know how to sell myself. You know what I mean? And a lot of people need to work on the selling themselves part. Even me, myself, like, because you never stop like learning how to sell yourself, right? But you really want to work at that where you truly learn to sell yourself. Like that's really what you want. You know what I mean? That's really what you want. Like you really want to learn to sell yourself, because once you do, the sky's the limit. You know what I mean? The sky's the limit. But great salespeople, they don't have a problem bouncing. They don't have a problem making money. But like they say, closed mouth don't get fed. So you want to learn, as much as possible, so that you can become the best salesperson you can be, whether it's watching videos, whether it's podcasts, whether it's going to seminars, whether it's taking classes with the coach, whether it's buying books on Amazon. You truly, truly want to invest in like learning how to become a great salesperson. Makes sense. Even if you have to watch other people, okay, how do they do it? You start to learn their style until you get your own style, but you really want to work on becoming a great salesperson. Because once you know how to sell yourself, exactly. Once you know how to really sell yourself, a lot of things can definitely change. And that's what you want to work on. Like, I need to work on selling myself. You know what I mean? So that's what I would say, So don't be afraid. Like, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Don't be afraid to sound silly. Don't be afraid to sound dumb. Don't be afraid to sound crazy. It's normal. You've never done this before. So give yourself mercy, but then you'll get to a place one day where you can be like Tony Robbins, right? But even Tony Robbins, I'm sure when he started, nobody was listening to him. So, but Tony Robbins now, he's learned, he has found his style. He found his voice. He found his style. He found his delivery. He has found his way. So now he's like the Tony Robbins. I think like people pay like $1,500 to go to his conferences. That's crazy, right? But I'm sure when he started, it wasn't like that, right? But that's what you want to learn also. So it's not just, I got to make a great product, but you also want to learn how to sell the product, right? You want to learn how to sell yourself, sell the product, sell the lifestyle, sell the dream, sell the vision. Like you have to work on those things. You know what I mean? So even like for me to sit here about like the fun thing you do, like that's also, I have to sit here, I have to like sell myself, right? Like sell you on the idea, sell you on the benefit, like why you want to join, why you want to be part of it. Like if I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so scared, I'm so afraid, what if they say no, what if they don't like it, oh my gosh, I can't do it, we wouldn't be having this conversation, right? So guess what? I got myself ready today. I got my mentally prepared last night. I was mentally prepared this morning. I got ready, you know, and then I sat here. Does that make sense? So, you know, but like the more you do it, the easier it is, right? It's the first time you have like bad anxiety, bad trepidation, your mouth gets super dry. But after that, it's like, oh, please, this is super easy. You know what I mean? Because, you know, then you can pitch to investors, you can pitch to other people, and things like that. You know, like that's what you want to do, because that's, you know, because, you know, sky's the limit. But there are people like to even get one investor, they'll pitch to like 20,000 people, you know, just to get one yes. I had a lady, like she raised $1 million, but she had to pitch like 20 people, I think. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think when it comes to you know, she said, this is what we're talking about. I always wanted to learn how to do nails and start my own business, but I was scared that the market is overcrowded and I would look silly. I think I will go for it. Yeah, you should go for it. Especially if you want to go like get it like, hey, Melissa, you know, like especially if you want to become a nail tech, is that what you want? If you want to become a nail technician, you should do it. It's only 6 months. You know, I'm like 6 months out of your life, whether you do it or not, they're going to pass by anyway. So if you start in June, you'll be done in December, right? And then you know how to do nails. Like worst case scenario, you do nails for your family. That's the worst case scenario. But like I said earlier, Instagram is free. You know, some people, I've seen people who also just graduated as nail techs, right? They'll do their work on mannequin, like the mannequin hands, and they'll post it on Instagram. You know what I'm saying? All you need is like a tripod to hold the camera and the clip for the camera, for the phone, and you can record yourself. Like, you know, you can record you doing nails on a mannequin hand. You know what I'm saying? It's not that deep, right? But you might not be able to charge as much as most people because you're just starting out. But as you get better, you know, but the people making money off these nails, child, because people who do like all the design stuff, the design is really where the money is, you know? Knowing how to lay it right, knowing how to file right, because you got to get like the right shape. But it truly is the design. That's where people make a lot of money. Lacey said, I'm working constantly on showing up for the few that follow me on IG and through my newsletter. Yeah, that's what's up. And you can even do it and also go like on Instagram Live. You know, just I want to be a nurse anesthesiologist. That's what's up, right? So, you know what I'm saying? So do it. What's the worst thing that could happen, really? You know, it's not a demeaning thing to do, but I'm like, I don't see how like people need nails. Like even me, I would love to have like a luxury nail spot. Y'all know me, I love luxury, but I would love to have like a luxury like nail place, like where I go to get my, well, usually it's my feet, but I went there for my nails. But it's so pretty, like it's so pretty. They used to give like champagne and martini, but they kind of stopped that because of COVID. But it's a very luxury place, and I tell you, it is booked. And I'm like, how much does this lady make? And you really think about it, like you don't even need that much. You just need a bunch of chairs, bunch of like manicure chairs and then pedicure chairs, bunch of regular chairs, you know. And then she has like a bar thing, so you sit at the bar and get your nails done. I'm like you don't need that much furniture for a nail place. You don't need that much stuff. You really don't. Like the nail powders are not that expensive, you know. So I'm like, now, like, I truly want to have like a nail spa. Like I do, I really do. And then, you know, and I like it. And most people like if they can go somewhere and it's very clean, it's sanitized, and they can get like some drinks, some massage, whatever. Like yeah, they'll do it. They'll put a little extra for a little experience, you know. Yeah, you know, like people be out here be broke. So it's like, you know, that's it. I'm like, wow. But I'm like, there's a lot of money in nails, right? There's a lot of money. There's a lot of money in nails. Even now, there are people who sell food on Uber Eats and DoorDash, because a lot of these food places on DoorDash and Uber Eats, they're not even real restaurants. They're called like dark kitchens or black kitchens, but it's like people who just make food at like a specific restaurant. Then they put their business up on DoorDash, and they're making money from that. Just making food from God knows where. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of ways out there to make money. Like, you just can't be. I've just come to realize that if you want to make money, you can't be shameless. Like, sorry, you have to be shameless. Like, you can't be like, oh my gosh, what are they gonna say? Oh my gosh, like, whatever. I'm being serious. Like, look at Cardi B. She don't care. Doesn't care. And because she's shameless, she's where she is. Like Ghost Kitchen, exactly, right? They don't care. Yeah, there's a lot of money in the beauty industry. And that's why I'm like, that's why I want us to start this group so we can make money from the beauty industry together. Yeah. There, like there are many things like that. You know what I'm saying? You'll be surprised. But that's what I've come to realize, that people who go on to make their coins and things like that, they're shameless. They are shameless. They are absolutely shameless. But people who are very self-aware, people who are always super scared, super afraid, it's a lot harder for them to make the money that they need to make because they're so worried about other people's opinion of them, right? And you have to get to a point in life where you're like, oh, I just don't care. I'm going to do what I have to do. As long as you're not breaking the law. Used to do Instacart. Okay, that's what's up, right? You know what I mean? So, and these are things, and also let me tell you this too, right? Let me say this to you guys. I'm gonna be very honest, right? Part of like being an entrepreneur, you will have to do like side gigs, okay? You might have to do Uber, you might have to do DoorDash, you might have to do this, you might have to do extra. Listen, it's only for a season. So don't you ever feel bad about that too. It all comes with the territory, guys. You know what I mean? It all comes with the territory, especially being Black people. It's a lot harder for us to get investors and get access to capital. So we do find ourselves having to do like all these extra gigs on the side. So my thing is like, do not feel bad. Don't be like, oh, look at me. I'm doing Instacart. I'm a failure. You know what I mean? Oh, look at me. I'm doing DoorDash. I'm behind. You ain't, girl. You're doing the best you can with what you got. Okay? So always be proud of yourself. Oh, thank you, Melissa. That's so sweet. But guess what? You can join the community. Well, like you'll join the fun. You came late. So tomorrow night, we're meeting on Zoom tomorrow night, Melissa. So you'll join us, right? So, don't ever feel bad, boo. Don't ever feel bad. Like, that's part of the journey. So I'm like, oh, look at me. I have to do this. And these people, they're going on vacation. It doesn't matter. They could be going on vacation today and you're over here doing a little DoorDash. But guess what? Tomorrow, your whole life could be a vacation. Okay? So don't ever feel bad. Don't ever feel bad. They're like, listen, life, it is what it is, yo, but it's an honest way of making money, right? It's an honest way of finding extra income. It's an honest way, right? And that's why I'm saying, like, with this fund, and I hope more people do it, if more and more people could raise money together as a community, less and less people would have to do side gigs and could focus on their business 100%. But we're not there yet, but eventually we'll be there. Right. So don't ever feel bad about that. If you have to work nights, to make extra money for your business, don't feel bad about that. You hear me? If you have to, work at a hotel overnight so you can make money that way to fund your business, don't feel bad about that. Okay. It's part of the journey. Okay. It's part of your journey. And guess what? When you actually do make it and you share that with people, it's going to make you even more relatable. Because when you realize the way the world is set up out here, people are not looking to talk to people who never had to struggle. Okay. People are not looking for people who never had issues. People like people who've been through some stuff. People like people who've been through some issues and some situation, right? Like, I think one of the reasons why people like Super Scent so much, right? Because for now, like Super, like she's been through so much. You know what I mean? She's been through so much. People saw her struggling. People saw her when she didn't have a lot, right? And she was very honest about that. So I think now that she's successful, now that she's able to do for herself, now that she doesn't have to worry about money, now that she's self-sufficient, people are so happy for her because they saw where she was coming from, right? And they're like, okay, if Super can do it, I can do it too. Because it's like she's a regular person. She's not a white woman. She doesn't come from generational wealth. She doesn't come from like the good side of New Orleans. You know what I'm saying? So I think when people see Super, they're like, you know what? If God can shine on Super, he gonna shine on me too. And I think and plus she's really funny. She's no Aquarius, right? So, people like her because of that. It's not like she's not trying to sell you a Hollywood, glossy magazine. Like, it's real. You know what I'm saying? It's real. So if God is making you go through Uber Eats right now, if God is making you go through DoorDash or Instacart, he's not punishing you. He's giving you beautiful pieces of your story that later on, when you share that with people, it's going to touch people, right? When you finally get to a place, right? You know, when you finally get to a place, when you finally have your own office, when you finally have your own warehouse, when you finally have your staff, you're going to value that so much more. And even the people that you're going to hire, they'll have so much more respect for you because, like, yo, this lady, she paid the price for her dream. You know what I mean? You don't want things to be handed to you. You know what I'm saying? You want to be like, yeah, I paid the price for that. You know what I mean? Like, remember, like when Tyra Banks did America's Next Top Model the first season, she was the one painting the rooms. Like, she was painting everything. She was painting the stuff, and like Tyra was doing that with her own hands because she only had $100,000 to do it. But now look what it became, right? When RuPaul started RuPaul's Drag Race, we don't even know how he did it, but it was low kiki. But now it's a full on production, right? And people respect that more. So don't feel like you have to come out the gate shining and winning, because it might not even resonate with people. You know what I mean? It might not even resonate with people. If you come out the gate like a regular person, doing the best you can, figuring things out as you go, being honest with your journey, like, people gonna rock with you even more. Because when you make, and let me tell you something, let me tell you something real quick, right? When it comes to social media also, when people see you grinding and you finally make it, a lot of people will cheer you on because they'll look at your victory as like it was their own victory. Like, I kid you not, you have a lot of good people on social media. You know what I mean? Like, they will cheer you on just as if it was them winning. Because that's how much, like, they believe in you. Like, yo, I remember when you were doing this. I remember this. I remember, right? So don't ever feel bad about any part of your journey, because that's what's going to make you relatable to so many other people. That's what's going to make people want to mess with you and support you, because you're being honest and transparent about what you had to go through. You know what I mean? Because all the glossy stories, the overnight Cinderella story, people like, that's not real life. You know what I'm saying? People want to know, can someone as flawed as me make it? Right? Can someone with so much baggage as me make it? Can someone who started late like me make it? Right? Can someone who's starting in an over like crowded space can make it? Right? That's what people want. They're not trying to hear like a Cinderella story. They're trying to hear how a regular person, an everyday person, right, believed in themselves enough, right, and then, you know, got on to be at the top of the top of the top. You know what I'm saying? Like, even with Nikki, like, I was on the live last time, not the last one, but the first one on Friday, right? Like, the live got up to 993,000 people. People was being some haters, bro. Like, she really could have had 1 million people on her live. And I'm like, I have never seen, maybe I'm missing something, but I'm like, I have never seen anybody. I've never, especially a woman, like, I have never seen a woman celebrity get on Instagram live, right? And have almost like 1 million people, you know? But Nikki got like 900. It got up to 900. And it was 993,000 people, because I kept taking screenshots. I'm like, I'm saving this. That's gonna be me one day, right? But I was like, wow, look at Nikki, like, you know. But the thing is, it wasn't always like that for her. You know, there were times where she slept in motels. You know, there were times where she had nowhere to sleep. There were times, like, you know, to become the queen of rap, but she wasn't always living like a queen, though. You know, there were times she had nowhere to stay. There were times like she was handing out her mixtapes. And now she can just go on Instagram live and there's 1 million people who show up. You know, and that's the thing, like, you know, I want to end on this though, right? But that's the thing, is like, when you go through life, you know what I mean? Shoot. There's not that many people when you're suffering, you know. There's not that many people right there when you're at the bottom. But that's okay though. Don't give up. Keep grinding, keep pushing, you know. And that's the whole thing with my channel now. Like, the stuff I do with social media, like with YouTube especially, like, I want to encourage people who follow me to not give up. You know, I gave up on myself for like 3 years, right? That was really stupid. But But I want to take my experiences, right? And like teach you, like, you don't have to give up, right? It's perfectly normal. All the stuff that I was feeling, that I felt that made me want to give up, whatever, those were perfect emotions. Like, they were so normal. I was just being overly dramatic. I was being so dramatic. But when you're going through like your building days, you don't have lots of support. You don't have a big team. You don't have lots of that, but it's okay, because one day it'll come, you guys. But I'm telling you, on Friday, her live went all the way up to 993,000 people. I don't know why she's with him, to be honest. That's a great question. Only she can answer that. But I was just blown away. I'm like, wow, Nikki got 900. And can you imagine getting a million people on your live? I said, Jesus, like, I have never, like Takashi, I think when he came out of prison, he had like 3 or 6 million on his live. But I don't know what woman has gotten that kind of views on live before. I said, Jesus. And I said, Lord, I need to do Nicki Minaj's makeup one day. I have to do her makeup one day. I don't even know how that's going to happen, but it's going to happen. Like, I'm putting that out there in the universe, right? And another thing I'm going to say to you guys too, like, social media is really fun. It might not seem like it when you don't have a lot of followers and not a lot of engagement, but don't worry about that. Like, it's a lot of fun. Like, you get to meet a bunch of people. I've never seen Kim go live, but I'm like, on social media, you get to meet a bunch of people. You get to network with a bunch of people. So have fun with social media. Don't look at, I can't stand that place. I hate that place, right? Don't have that mindset. Like, it can really be a fun place. But for it to be a fun place, it needs to be a fun place in your head. If you look at it as a dread, if you hate it, if you dread it, it's going to be horrible. Right. But if you look at it as a fun place, it can definitely be a fun place. Like, to me now, social media is a hoot. Like, I tell you, I have so much fun on there. But all that is about like being in the right frame of mind too. Right. But if you do that, it's going to be really dope. Okay. So I don't know if you have any question for me, or if you want to come on the stream. If not, I'm going to bounce. Got to get to my phone. I have to go live on the Lena Lashes page, but just want to come and let you know about the group where I'm putting together. Tomorrow we'll do the Zoom. There's no commitment. You just come to hear more about it. I'll just be Zooming and we'll get to meet each other officially. So you send me, please email me also if you're interested. And then I can send you the link. Then I can send you the link. The Zoom link. It's gonna be, I think, 7 Eastern. We can do like 7 to 8 Eastern. But I will save it though. I think I can save it and post it on YouTube also and put it as private. So if you want to join us, you can come on. I'll be tomorrow. We'll do it tomorrow night, and I can do another one on Tuesday night, if that's good for some people too. If you're in the UK, I can do one in the mornings for you guys. If you ask me, if you email me or DM me, you let me know. I can do one in the morning for UK people, because if we do one at 8, you're probably asleep. So if I have to do one early for all my European people, then I can do one like in the morning, because I wake up early. I wake up like 5, 6. So that's like around like 12 to 1 p.m. London time. So I can do one in the morning. For you guys also. That way you can catch me like in the morning time. My morning, your afternoon. You can do that as well. Yeah, so we'll just talk more about it on Zoom. If you have any questions or anything you want to add, and also if you have any skill sets or talent, also I would love for you to be part of it, so you can share your skill sets and help other people. Because that's really what we need. We need to help each other. We really need to help each other. Like, there really is enough like out there for everybody to be successful, or at least everybody to have enough to live a comfortable life, or comfortable lifestyle. You know what I mean? And that's what I want. And hopefully, like I said, next year we can travel together next year, because I would love for a group of us to go to China together. I really would. Like, I would see, like, years ago, I remember like Yandy and them would go to Asia with people. Like, they'll go to China. You would see people go to China, but it was like so expensive. Like, I don't have to be that expensive. But I would love that. That would be really fun. You know, we could all travel to get like a girls trip. Well, the fellas can come too, but we could have like a girls trip, you know, to Asia. Then that'd be like super cool because I want to go to Korea also. Make sure you get your passport. If you don't have a passport, apply for a passport because now the corona, like it takes longer. It takes like 6 weeks or more. So, you know, if it's 160, you book online, then you print the form, you don't sign it, you just print it. You do all the info stuff at this part, you don't sign. Then you can go to the post office, you book your appointment at the post office, and you can get your passport done. It's super easy. Super, super easy. So you should definitely get a passport. Get a passport, girl. Manifest that trip. Let's manifest that trip, you know, because some people never even been out the country, which is crazy. That's just crazy to me. So yes, ladies, that is it. That's it for me. She got to go. Thank you for being with me. I hope this was really helpful. I hope you learned something. I hope it was encouraging. I hope it was motivational. I hope it was positive. You know, I'm going to try to do more of this kind of content because I think that's more beneficial to people. Actually, to all of us, actually. Hey Cloud, what's up, bro? You know, so like I feel like that kind of content is better. But don't forget, tomorrow night we'll be on Zoom if you want to join. Here is the email address. Email your girl, catch me there. Oh, you just got here. Oh, we've been here for 3 hours. And I might put it in the bio or whatever. If I don't, catch me on Instagram. Okay. So thank you so much. And I will see you tomorrow morning. I'll be back tomorrow morning again to reiterate the message another way. You know, but please email me, lenateacheswealth@gmail.com. Just say like Zoom meeting and I'll just reply back with you with the link. I'll have that link for you guys tonight. Okay. All right, people. Patricia, I appreciate you. I appreciate all my mods. And I will see you guys tomorrow morning on YouTube. And then tomorrow night, I'll see you on Zoom because I'm sure most of you guys will come. Okay. Bye, people. Catch me on Instagram. All right. Bye. Bye, Kevin. Bye, everybody. Enjoy your Saturday. Be safe. Have fun. God is good. Be positive. Okay. Don't live in a negative mindset. It's going to be good. It's going to be great. It's going to be awesome. Good things are coming. Okay. Love you all. And I'll see you tomorrow.